of held you up a little bit over here. That was nice of it.
The problem is he's so fast on the straight and then slow on the corners. But I guess that's a practice.
Yep. How's the car feel with the lower tire pressure?
Feels better on the low speed, but not as good on the high speed.
Okay, so we'll leave them where they are.
Yeah.
Just leave them where they are.
Although the only thing I'm curious, is there a pressure difference between left and right?
Well, feedback.
find yourself and let go of the demons in your head that have held you in captivity for so long. It's time to flip the page and prove them wrong. It's time for rebirth. Yeah, time's up to say goodbye to all the haters, doubters, and non-believers trying to bring you down. In the blink of an eye, you'll realize that there's so much more to the book than the page you were stuck on. Finally, you will be free to live a life you love living instead of the life you think other people want you to live. Remember, you are the highest authority when it comes to knowing what you want and what you love. So stop trading yourself for the approval from others. Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and geeks, please repeat after me. I don't give a fuck. What?
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
It is intended for mature audiences, but you're what we're working with, and so that's what we go on with. Welcome to the show, everyone. Not huge attendance today, but it is Monday, and I haven't been doing the Monday shows lately, so we're gonna go with what we got. Yeah, got a lot of stuff going on today. It's gonna be cool. Let me see who's up in the house. Chairman of the board was apparently bored today. He came in pretty early, it looks like. I think Smoking Spaceman was actually the #1 all-timer, clocking in super early. But I lost some chats because I closed things out. Sorry. Arakar Oak Emmett knocked in next. And Oxy Cat, Kissy Cat. I can't say that. Kissy Cat locked it in. Are you off? Is this your day off? Are you hanging out on your day off with us? That's cool. And then we had, and of course, they got to see me screwing up the intro because I hit the wrong button while I was fucking around with stuff. Jack Sheridan clocked in. He's doing work today. Plumpy, He's checked in. He's gonna get he's gonna get paid this week. Yeah, see, ZD Den, good to see you. And 13 has made it. Plumpy is out there in the house, wandering around somewhere. We probably got Kevin and some other dudes. Fredo Fonzarelli's up in the house, along with Mara Kate. Good to see all of y'all. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, so I'm not really sure about Are We Not We Men? He reminds me of this wee man named Wee Todd. Matter of fact, he actually looks just like Wee Todd. And we can't have, there can only be one Wee Todd, and I don't have any room for another Wee Todd. So he had to go be a Wee Todd somewhere else. At any rate, poor guy. Just doesn't know what's good for him. So, yeah. You know, wee little guy, Wee Todd, not Big Todd. Big Todd's cool. Wee Todd, not cool. All right, there we go. Now that we got all of that out of the way, I've got to do my public service announcement. This is for everyone. Sometimes you guys get a little out of hand. Sometimes there are people out there in their daily lives that need to hear this. So take this public service announcement if it applies to you.
Everyone does it. Now you can do it too. Shut the fuck up. Shut your mouth. Shut up. Shut the hole in your face. Like that. You can do it. Shh. Shut up. And shut the fuck up.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Good. $2 comes in from Plumpy. Supposed to be studying for an exam. Good luck with that one, pal. Good luck with that one. That's terrible. That's terrible stuff. I got to be honest. Anyway, so I have a debate tonight. You guys may have heard this. It's me and Pentuple against the two most feminine named streamers I've ever encountered. Classy Neurotic. That literally, honestly, that sounds like a white girl trying to sound black. That's what I mean. I don't know. Is that anybody else get that vibe? I don't want to. I can't say any of that stuff. But anyway, so Classy Neurotic, and then we have on the other side of that we have Renyald's Notebook. Now I'm not sure who Renyald is. Well, I really don't want to know what's in that notebook. I'm just saying, just leave me out of the notebook. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, so it's one of those things. We've got a lot of stuff going on, and it is. It's just what it is, man. So at any rate, glad to see everyone out in the chat today. I know it's Monday in midday. A lot of you guys are probably working. A lot of you guys probably have, better things to do than hang out and, hang out with me. So, good to see y'all, and good to see you, Caucasian Sasquatch. Good to see you. If you want to come up later, we'll have you up. You can regale us with wild Sasquatch stories. That'd be great. Anyway, so let's see what else is out. Hey, welcome back, Smoking Spaceman. Welcome back. Lunch for another 5 minutes. All right, DNGF. Good to see you. Naomi's up in the house. That means Mikey Balls can't be far behind. So yeah. Anyway, Mike is with his daughter. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, it's good for him, bad for you, I guess. the chairman of the board, did Anson just call Caucasian Sasquatch Cocksquatch? Is that what he just did? Cocksquatch? Yikes. That's a yikes. That is a yikes. That's yikes. Yikes. I feel like I'm on a half episode of whatever with without the plumage decorating the studio. It's going to be awesome. All right, so the debate tonight is over Doge. Has it fulfilled its promise? Kind of went over a little bit of this the other day. I've refined my arguments. I've refined my opening statements, and I'm going to lay waste and terrorize these young men into probably being better young men. Hopefully, that's what I actually want to do. No, I think that's right. Hit the light over in the corner that says like. Hit that. Autocorrect is terrible, man. I'm really getting tired of its shirt. Anyway, so it's a so we got the debate going on tonight. We've had the judges arrested. We got a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of like not weirdness per se. What's the word I'm looking for here? There's a lot of weirdness going on in my school district in Tennessee. They just passed the parents' responsibility something or the other. I think it's hang on, it doesn't matter. Basically, what it's got basically the way it is that if your child lives within a mile of school, it's the parent's responsibility to get that child to school, and it's not the city or county's responsibility to provide bus service. They're no longer eligible for bus service, which I support. I think kids ought to ride a bus to school. I mean, not ride a bus. I think kids ought to be able to walk to school, and so, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. So it's anyway. I mean, I actually posted because have you guys heard of this Nextdoor app? This thing is like. This is purposefully giving yourself cancer of the brain. It's terrible, terrible. The amount of whining and moaning and belly aching on this app. It's basically it's just a bunch of women, some of whom masquerade as men, whining about everything. So I get that, but occasionally there'll be like something I need to know about. So I haven't been able to delete this app just yet, but we're close. And so basically they're whining all about this and saying, well, when it rains, it's bad and it's cold. Oh my gosh, the kids, it's cold. Oh, they could, they could have an accident walking to school. They could get hit by a car. What all this? And I'm like, it's called Nextdoor, Naomi, Nextdoor. And it's just a bunch of whining ass people. And there were some dudes in there. And I'm like, shut the hell up. I was literally like, I loved walking to school and riding my bike to school when I was a kid. And my son is really angry that he doesn't get that because he lives too far from school. He's like, he is very unhappy that he doesn't, he doesn't have that ability. Yeah, so right, yeah, and I literally wrote this post. I was like, we infantile our kids. It's just gonna be a bunch of whining and belly aching, and it's I weep for our youth and all that. So it's ticky tacks. It really is a bunch of whining. The funny thing is, ticky tack is a lot of those are men. Those are men, and they're whining like little girls. I mean like whiny little girls. So it's pretty terrible, and it's awful, and it just reinforces my 100% belief that our society today just infantilizes fucking everybody. Like a 14-year-old kid ought to be able to walk a mile to school. And then I remembered that earlier this year, I covered the story where that lady got arrested for letting her kid walk 3/4 of a mile or whatever it was to the fucking Dollar General or convenience store, whatever the fuck it was. She got arrested. Eventually they did drop the charges. We found that out the other night. I had not kept up with the story, but apparently, because of the mass amount of bad press, Georgia did the right thing and dropped the charges. But the fact is, she was charged anyway. Right? I mean, they talk about Gen X, how those of us that are like me, about how we used to get on our bikes at daybreak and we didn't come back until the street lights came on, and we ate at everybody else's house, and we drank out of water hoses, and all that kind of stuff. And all that shit's true, man. But the one thing we weren't infantilized. We weren't treated like we were fucking glass until we were 21. And this is the crazy thing, is that I actually was I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about how their kid doesn't have a job, no prospects, they're out of college, all that kind of stuff. And I was thinking this was like an 18-year-old, or pardon me, I actually, before they said college, I was thinking this was like an 18-year-old kid just out of high school waiting to go to college or something like that. And then they said that he had graduated college, had no job, lived at home, which I actually don't really have a problem with him living at home. But this dude had no motivation to do anything. Like, all he wants to do is just sit around and fucking play video games and whine about not being able to get the job that he wants. And I don't think he's got a degree in underwater basket weaving. I think it's something even more useless, like he's probably got a like some weird version of a business degree or something. But yeah, I mean, dude, I literally, I was like 9 or 10 years old. I would go to the corner store and buy whatever, buy a soda. I used to walk when I was in 5th and 6th grade, middle school. Is it middle school? No, middle school was 7th and 8th grade. So yeah, when I was in middle school, so it was 7th and 8th grade, I would walk home every day, and I didn't go straight home. I went from the school to the public library on the square, and I would read books or, whatever. And then I would go from the library, usually to my grandmother's house, and I would get, I get a snack, I'd get lunch. Usually she always had apples and stuff. So I get an apple or something. And then finally I would walk home. If I didn't stop at a friend's house and hang out, maybe I eat dinner with my friends, who knows? But it wasn't anything unusual. Right? These are the same streets that these people are whining about. Like, we haven't changed anything. I mean, obviously in some places, there are new schools, but it's really insane the way that people infantilize children these days. And this is actually one of the reasons why I really feel like, and I was talking to someone the other day, I don't know if it was, can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to them about how men, and I don't have your email, Squatch. Are you in my Discord? If you're in the Discord, I'll shoot you the link. Just wave at me or something in the Discord. But I was talking to somebody the other day, and we were talking about how, all these young men and women are indoctrinated by the school systems and infantilized by their parents. They're not even allowed to do anything for themselves. They are driven from one activity to the other. They're told which activities they're going to participate in. They're told how to do it. They're not. Okay. Dang it, boy. All right. Let me see if I can email you here. Making me use email. Feels so weird. It's not an instant messenger or some kind of thing like that. Sorry, guys. I have to remember how to fucking do email. Gotcha. All right, now I'll send you a link. I'm sending you a link right effing now. Just because I can. What a weird ass show today. I'm not even doing the shit I said I was going to do. All right, you got the link there, Squatch. Yeah, what's email? Who the fuck uses email anymore? What the hell's wrong with you, man? Anyway, so it's just so weird to me that it's just so weird to me the kids today, man. Like I don't get it. And the problem is like, okay, sure, some kids launch out of that, right? Sometimes, there are kids out there that will move past that, right? But they kind of rebel against their parents. They rebel against their school. They rebel against whatever, and so they end up with this. They end up being good, like students and stuff, right? Like they end up being the people who go out and do great things in life. But for the most part, these kids, man, if they're motivated at all, they're not motivated by the idea of going out and getting a job and doing hard work and learning a skill, learning a trade, working, doing things with their hands. And I know, look, I understand some are, but I'm saying the vast majority of kids right now that I hear, that I listen to, that come up and talk to me, they're talking about, they want to be the next Grant Cardone, right? Like they're out there talking about trying to buy apartment buildings at 22 years old, and and I hear all of this weird ass shit all the time. Where I have somebody that I had somebody the other day where we were talking about a deal, and this kid's like 23, 24 years old. He's $1 million in debt. His entire life's gonna be fucked because he's going under. Like right now, he got into it, and he's fucking going under. And I don't understand what he's got going on. And so it's just going to be an interesting, to me, the law that the county just approved, or policy, I guess it's technically a policy. It's not a law, right? The Rutherford County basically said that, if you live within a mile of your school kid, if your kid lives within a mile of their school, and there's some other qualifiers, that then they're not obligated to provide bus service. And it's the parental something responsibility. I forget what it is. I was trying to look it up. I got distracted. Yeah. Anyway, it's actually PRZ. It's not PKR. It's PRZ. So what they've done is they've approved this parental responsibility zone. You see, right in the middle of there is the word that every fucking new parent, all the parents of this generation, every single fucking one of them, the one word they hate: responsibility. Beginning next school year, students in grades K through 5 who live within 1 mile of their school and those in grades 6 through 12 within 1.5 miles of school will no longer be eligible for bus service. And they're doing this specifically to cut transportation costs, because why is it that, somebody lives a mile away from the school? First of all, either your parent, if you really think your kid can't make it to school, get your butt up and drive them, right? Buy them a bicycle, right? And so anyway, and like I said, on Nextdoor this morning, I don't know why I even get those fucking emails, but I still get I actually do know why, but they're just like super angry with me, I'm sure, because I was like, yeah, fuck all y'all. And so what's going to end up happening now? What should end up happening is some forward-thinking parents should start a carpool and make a few bucks taking the lazy ass parents' kids to school, and that way the county no longer has to pay for your dumbass kids who don't want to walk to school. So anyway, I just thought that was great, and I'm super happy with it. So should be great. But I just don't understand this guy. I mean, how much more can we infantilize kids? We already have parents doing their homework for them. We have parents right now that are so against homework that there's literally like a movement, if you will, to there's literally a movement to what is going on here? Why is this not? Oh, do I have the thing on? At any rate, there's this movement to just make make all the homework go away, and which I don't disagree if we're going to get rid of all of the classes that they don't need. If you're going to concentrate on the main subjects that kids need to learn, then sure. But if you're not, then suck it up, Buttercup. And they're talking about boycotting. They're talking about boycotting this. This is I mean, it's so interesting. And I don't know. It's crazy, guys. You guys, this is crazy stuff. I'm trying to see if anybody is yeah. So they're gonna boycott the school. Because they don't want them. They're mad that they're not getting their free bus ride. So yeah, is WMD's out there raging? Is he kicking you guys off? Your flying horse goes to another school, CL? All right, that's cool. What's up, Ben? So I wrote this post. I want to read this to you guys and tell you if you think I was being too angry this morning. No, it's not a private school. It's a public schools. These are Rutherford County public school systems have determined. I'll read this to you again. Rutherford County Schools approves controversial parental responsibility zones to cut transportation costs. Beginning next school year, students in grades K through 5 who live within 1 mile of their school and those in grades 6 through 12 within 1.5 mile of school will no longer be eligible for bus service. Okay? So basically, if you live close enough to walk your happy ass to school, the county's saying walk your happy ass to school. And if you don't want your kid to walk to school, that's great. Good luck with that. You're going to have to drive them yourself. So I wrote that I'll read it exactly. I loved walking and riding my bike to school. My son would love to have the experiences I did growing up, but we live too far from his school for him to walk. He is looking forward to getting a scooter for the trip, though. I should have said next year. I didn't. I could point out how infantilized modern kids are and how this is leading to many societal issues, but few would listen and many would rage over it. I weep for our future society of milquetoast betas crying over their digital girlfriends breaking up with them and the OF girls selling themselves online. Do better. There are 0 replies to my comment. But I can't help but be me, and I do that in every single form, everywhere. So anyway, I think that obviously I think the kids should be. I mean, my kid would love to walk to school. Right, bicycle. That's right. Raging Patriot is there. But yeah, why would you not let your kid? Why would you not want your kid to ride a bike and not be a fat ass? Right? Why would you not want your kid to walk to school and enjoy the nature and calm down before he gets to school? Like why? So instead, what we have these kids who are thrown on the bus 1 mile from school. So then they have to drive the entire 30-mile loop or whatever the fuck it is that most school buses roll. They get to stay on that bus for an hour before they even get to school. The reason that I did not ride a bus to school when I was a kid was because the trip sucked. It was so long because obviously the buses would leave, they had a pickup point, and inevitably I was always at the beginning of the pickup point, and I wanted to sleep an extra 30 minutes. I would rather walk to school. I would literally sleep until, if I had to be at school at 8, I'd sleep until 7. I'd get up, I'd take 15 minutes. I was showered, ready to go, and I'd hit the ground running. Now that was during elementary and middle school. When I got to high school, I went to, I ended up going to military school, and then I had to walk to school. But I also had to walk before school because, every day we had to get that hike in before our physical activity before school. But they're not even toast. There's milk soft white bread. I mean, milk toast is literally bread that's soaked in milk and falling apart. Look, I just can't get over this. I can't get over the parents that are whining about it. And worse is I can't understand the non-parents who are bitching about this bullshit. This is crazy, man. Crazy. Wait a minute. You were loved. Who are you love bombed by, Ben? Are you in love with? Are you in lust with some weird woman somewhere? Oh, I bet it was on whatever. Right. Look, you learn how to dress appropriately. You want, and actually I was thinking about this the other day. So there is I drive by, when I drop my kid off, I drive by a bunch of people waiting for buses. And I noticed that there was these kids, and they had to walk to the bus stop. And it was probably I don't know, 200-300 yards from where their house was to the bus stop. So And they were wearing like short sleeve shirts and shorts in the middle of fucking winter. And I'm thinking, the only reason you're doing that is because you're about to get on a damn bus. So anyway. Did Ben fall in love with the Furby? Ooh, is there something about that? The Raging Patriot is on it today. It's good to see you back, by the way, TRP. It's been a minute, and I miss you. I know that you've had to kind of, take some time off here and there. So glad to see you back, and always great to have you in the chat. If I must know what it's like to fall off your bike, have toenails scraped off, or get your fingers caught in a chain, then all kids should know pain at a young age. That's right. That's right. Who's been simping over now? Also, Ticky Tack. We didn't have bike cages. We had the bike rack thing where you just put the front tire through it and you chained it. It's no big deal. The Furby, Ben, bro. The Furby is not a chick. The Furby's a dude. It's a dude, man. It's a dude. Kissy Cat, you did tell us that there was something about Ben. I'm pretty sure Ben's a dude. He hasn't cammed up though, so we can't know that for certain. We know what the Furby looks like. He's cammed up. All right, so I think I've made enough fun of Angel Berber throws it out there, throws it down, puts it there. Awesome. Very rarely did I ever get taken or picked up from the school. And I was in a ghetto area for many years with a lot of gangs. Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. So this girl's significantly crazier than Furby. Are you dating Ghosty? Ghosty's not crazy though. She's high. That's different. Furban babies hot. Oh, that's so fucking cool. Oh, that's awesome. Good luck, Ben. Yeah. With that Chinzilla is good for something, I'm sure. Anyway. All right, so we're going to be debating Doge tonight. Doge. And so I watched I watched a couple of debates from each of these young men. I am assuming gender there. It's okay. Dude, horse girls are crazy. Are you talking about Jess? Jess is a horse girl, and she's all horse girls are automatically crazy. Capital Z. Crazy. Why? The capital Z. Because, well, first of all, horses are fucking weird to begin with, but horse girls are crazy. Sheep girls are nice and sane. I'm not sure I can go that far, but horse girls are nuts. Jess is cool, but she's a horse. She'll admit horse girls are crazy. Yeah. There's something about the horse girl, man. There's just, I don't care who you are, a horse girl will never love you as much as that damned horse. And God help you if the horse dies. Whew, it's terrible. Because then everything, all of that emotion just gets taken out on you. And by the way, horses die. That's what they do. Yeah, there's the equestrian center is right around the corner from us. So anyway, that part might be true. Horse girls are typically hot, though. I got to be honest. They're typically hot. Jess is hilarious. Yeah, Jess is awesome. Where is she anyway? Jess kind of has two of the strikes against her. She's a nurse and she's a horse girl. Yikes. Oh, and divorced. Although I like Jess. Jess is my friend. But yeah, tell Jess to get in here. Jess is awesome, but again, can we agree on the number of red flags? She's my friend. She will admit them flags. I know, right? Jess, there it is. Jess, you tell them horse girls are crazy and tell them you've got 3 strikes. Jess has 3 strikes. Jess is a horse girl. She's a nurse. She's been divorced. It's 3 strikes. That's all the red flags. All of them. Yes, Jess is awesome. Jess is very much awesome. She collects the red flags and she's aware of her red flag status. Oh, Jack Sheridan coming in. Not to be mean, but if she is horse girl plus nurse equals obviously divorce. Wow. Shots fired. Shots fired. It's true, though. It's true. Yeah. Raging Patriot collects crazy. Well, it seems like there's a lot of crazy to go around. Just saying. I do like the fact that Jess owns the crazy. She owns that shit. She's very self-aware. Thank you, Mara Kate. That's very true. I'm just saying. Just saying. We got the Squatch live on the stage. What's up, my man?
Chilling like a villain, cheating, robbing, rhyming, stealing. What you doing?
Dude, you've practiced that. That's good. That was good. That was great delivery. That's
the Beastie Boys.
Mm-hmm. I remember when the Beastie Boys came out, and because we had cassette tapes back then. You guys, life before a compact disc, and I remember, I had the tape, and everywhere I went, I had that tape with me. So whoever's car I was in could throw that thing in there and jam out. So.
When I was, in 1995, a friend of mine bugged out of Georgia and went to South California and was down there for 6 or 8 months. Came back with a garage band tape of a band no one had ever heard of called Sublime.
Oh, dude, Sublime's awesome.
And he stuck it in the tape deck of the truck I was driving at the time, and the tape deck was broken and it just stole that tape. And I had the original demo tape from Sublime in 94, maybe 95.
Nice.
Real early. No one had ever heard them, couldn't find them online. They didn't exist until about a year later. Suddenly
I guess you kind of had online back then. So in so I had a friend of mine when I was in my military school. There was a guy there named his name was Cole Fain, and he was from a long line of musicians. And of course, he had drug problems and shit like that.
Well, that checks out.
Yeah, it checks out. And but Cole was cool, and he was one of my good friends for a number of years before he just dropped. I mean, he literally just dropped off the face of the earth, like he's just gone. Like I don't know what happened to him, but he had this. His cousin was Steve Earle, Copperhead Road, and all that.
Yeah.
So, and this is when Steve was big, right? Like, and so his cousin and Steve Earle at the time was married to Teresa Ensenat, who was an A&R person for Geffen Records and buddy with David Geffen. And so Cole would come back from a weekend at home with a stack of shit nobody ever heard of. Tracy Lords, like all this stuff. LA Guns, like nobody had ever heard of these people back then. This is like 1989, 88. Yeah. And like nobody ever heard of these. None of this stuff existed. And I remember I was going on my senior year in high school. I was going out with some friends, and I was playing Tracy Lords, and the girls were like, "This sounds really cool. Who is it?" And I'm like, "Tracy Lords." And they're like, "Oh, is that this band?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's a band named after a porn star." And they were like, "What?" And they had never heard of either of those things. And,
you're enlightening people all over the Midwest, huh?
Yeah, well, I was in Tennessee, man. I was like, these girls, we're country music people back then, and but I was always big into rock and some of the early rap stuff. Curtis Blow, Johnson Crew, a lot of stuff coming out of New York made it down to Tennessee pretty easily because literally Nashville. People think of Nashville as like country music, but it's crazy how many different kinds of music happen in
there is a Nashville counterculture of like weird ska, punk, reggae, grunge stuff that is not quite.
Dude, Hot Action Cop rules.
Banjo.
Hot Action Cop like fucking rules, dude. And so a lot of these bands, I would see play, and I'm like, these guys suck. And then like 3 years later, you're like, oh, I remember those guys. they got a producer that can make them sound good, And so it was cool. And,
I went to a really early Macklemore concert. He opened for someone else we were going to see, and the folks we were going to see ended up really, really, really sucking real bad, and it started raining. We were like, screw this, we left. But we saw Macklemore.
Yeah.
Like right before everything went all ham on him.
Okay. I saw the last concert I saw at Starwood Amphitheater was Faith No More and Billy Idol. And
wow.
Faith No More had like one hit song at the time, and that concert was just ridiculous. It was amazing. But yeah. So anyway, the Beastie Boys was one of those bands that like I always felt like they're kind of like ahead of their time, right? Like they really did. They didn't sound like anybody else, especially when you get into like some of the later stuff. It's just crazy.
Girls, bruh,
yeah.
Girls created a firestorm because no one could decide whether they were offended or happy. Crafty, completely revolutionary, talking about a chick that freaking robs everything you own. I mean, know who we're talking about. Today we call them red pillars. Back then he was just facts.
Yeah. Well, Paul's Boutique is like light years ahead. Like light years.
Paul's Boutique is really hard to explain to people who haven't come across it. because it's like, oh yeah, no, I know the Beastie Boys, but have you heard Paul's Boutique? And they're
And they
like,
usually have. They just don't realize they have.
they don't realize it's the Beastie Boys. That's what gets them.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. It was. I remember the first time I heard "Fight for Your Right." That was just insane. It was like really, really an insane song.
I don't remember the first time I heard it. I remember it insinuating itself into every aspect of
literally
that song.
everything.
Everything. You couldn't get away from it. Like you'd be riding down the road and the yuppie and the redneck riding parked next to you at the red light would both be playing "Fight for Your Right" to Party.
Right. Oh, dude. Do you remember when Enigma came out? The nuns chanting.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And it was like all these people are like rocking out to these not nuns, they were priests, to all these priests chanting to electronic.
Is there really a difference though? I mean, let's be honest.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not of that faith, but it was crazy. You heard that everywhere. You heard these, and I forget what kind of monks they were, but these monks are just like rocking out, man.
It was the Gregorian monks.
Gregorian monks, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Enigma was great though, man. It's great to chill to. It was awesome.
Get you a big old fat stogie, sit back, turn on the black light, and let the posters flare, bro.
I didn't smoke, man, but
Zumanaro, wah, wah.
Dude, it was awesome though. You know, the funny thing is that so I came up like in the 80s, obviously, and I remember when Power Station hit and Robert Palmer was just killing it, dude. And he dude had the biggest set of nuts on the planet because he's like, I'm not using bimbos. I want Vogue supermodels in my music video. he's like, go bring me.
I've heard people talk about that being like a revolutionary turn in videos, going from, the hot chick on the block to like whoever's hot and hip in music up to like some hot cheerleader that's relatively famous to Vogue magazine cover models on the freaking video. And I'm like, but that's a natural extension of what was going on. It's not like that's a reach.
I think it really was, because at the time it was basically like, if you look at like Rat, Jackal, Beastie, all of them, it's all the same kind of big hair, rock pinup girl, like all of them. But you could tell what kind of chick.
Nose jobs.
yeah. And then you would be like, but then Robert Palmer comes out with Power and hits with Power Station. It's just like, who the fuck are those girls? And the thing is like there were a lot of dudes who are like, they're not hot. Why are they even in the video? And I'm like, those are fucking supermodels, bro. Like they're every one of them's famous. They probably charge more per hour than you make in a year, you dumb fuck.
The major change in videos came with the release of Sir Mix-a-Lot's I Like Big Butts. After that, the design of videos completely changed. The type of women that were in videos completely changed. And hip hop in that era went from being, what all the guys on the corner were listening to what Becky riding around in her daddy's bought Camaro was listening to, the top down and 3 Mai Tais in the back seat. It kind of went mainstream suddenly.
Yeah, I can see that. The damn Yankees, the chick in the video in that was like the dude's girlfriend or something, and she was like super hot and everybody wanted that style of chick for a long time. It was crazy, man.
It was a wild time. Somebody came at me the other day. I was on a panel full of freaking millennials, and they were talking about how the early 2000s was the best period to grow up in, that they had all the video games and all of this and all the good music from the 70s and 80s, but also new music coming out. And I was like, well, by that standard, 2025 would be the best time to grow up, because you've got all of that and then whatever comes in the future. And They didn't really like that take on it. They were like,
Yeah, but
nah.
I got to be honest, man. A lot of the new music just sucks so bad.
But is that you or is that the music? I mean, we're getting
No,
older.
I mean, I'm pretty open with music, man. I like a lot of different stuff, but I just I really can't get into maybe I can't get into it, but a lot of but I also hear a lot of people have the same complaint I have. A lot of it is just it's really soft. It's really like it doesn't, and a lot of it doesn't even mean anything. Like they're just like.
No, I'm not a huge fan of like mumble rappers. I'm not a
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the later Eminem stuff. You know,
yeah.
I think Eminem should have retired at Rap God. And the only reason I think that is because if you do anything after declaring yourself a god, you are belittling yourself for your fans suddenly. So, I mean,
yeah. Well, I do think it's interesting that Eminem is so flexible across so many different formats.
sure.
Right? So my favorite Eminem music, honestly, is the diss tracks. I like it when he's beefing with somebody. You know, the tracks that he had against Whitey Whitey Ford or whatever the fuck it was. It's awesome, right? What about Dre? That is a killer tune, right? Like, because you can just kind of get into it, you can feel it. I guess the problem with the music today is I can't feel anything in it. And it may be like Silvar says that it's all written by algorithm now. I do know that, and I'd actually really like your opinion on this since you seem to be a musical guy. So a few years ago, they were looking at the top country and pop music, and they were looking at how they had figured out that if they had specific beats per minute and cadence and all of that, and that it didn't really matter what the words to the song were. It was that harmonic effect that sold all of it. And so literally they were making music based on algorithmic expression.
Sure.
And it became kind of like a scandal, right? Because like people want to think that they like music because they like music. But when it's literally like the computer just decides that this is what's going to make you like it, and now the words don't really matter. We're just going to throw whatever word salad up there that we want. Yeah, and it's really interesting.
But that's not
I don't know how I feel about that, you know.
As far as the music is concerned, yes. But it still takes an artist with talent to not only put together the words, but deliver them properly, and to have I guess it comes down to a proper delivery. It's like a joke. A computer can write a joke, but it won't be funny.
Yeah. Okay.
I got an opinion. I want to ask your opinion on something.
Yeah, man.
Who decides what you think is funny?
What I think is funny?
Mm-hmm.
Me, because a lot of things that people put in front of me that they think is funny, or they, I can't even get into it.
I challenge that idea. I don't think you do decide what is funny. Let me explain.
Okay.
You ever laughed in church?
Did I ever what?
Laugh in church.
A few times, yeah.
During a funeral, maybe?
Actually, once at a funeral, but that was a rarity.
Right. So that tendency to laugh when it's inappropriate is a part of humor. And laughter is modified crying. You only laugh at things that don't directly harm you unless you've gone beyond that and you're at a point where, shoot, that just happened to me, and you laugh at it to keep from crying, right? So if you see somebody slip on a banana peel and fall down, if you fell down and hurt your butt like that, you might cry about it. But because it's not you, you laugh at it.
Yeah, I think there's I think that's a solid part of humor, but I also think that people use humor to deal with things in different ways. And I've been to the one time I laughed at a funeral was I was at because I've only gone to like 3, right? I generically I don't go to them at all. But the one I went to this one, and it wasn't really a roast, but it was kind of like it was more of a celebration of life, and most of the guys were just telling like really guys and girls were really telling like really uplifting, oh, he helped me so much in this way, and I'm sure he's gone on to better things, but whatever. But one guy he was hilarious. Like he was just telling about how, him and this guy nearly gotten arrested, and how, apparently one night this dude was hitting on someone in a bar that was actually a hooker and didn't realize it until, anyway, it was just fun. I mean, and I laughed probably like 2 or 3 times, I was like, that's pretty fucking funny. But I wasn't the only one laughing. I think there is something there's an appropriateness to laughing where you may not laugh if other people aren't going to laugh.
Sure. But what I'm getting at is, even if you don't laugh at something uncontrollably, it's still something of an involuntary response. When you encounter something that's funny, especially if it's unexpected, it about doesn't matter what's going on at the time. You'll get one of those, you might be able to shoot it back or hold it down.
Mara Kate says, I went to a funeral once and the pastor asked who killed Jesus, and a little boy shouted, not me. So I have this funny story that goes along with that. You're going to like this one, Squatch. I know you're going to like this one. So one of the things, I used to run movie theaters when I was in college because basically the hours worked out. I got paid decently well, and there were always hot chicks around. Remembering that in college, once I decided I wasn't getting married as a complete degenerate, that job choice just seems to fall right in place. So I hired a bunch of Mormons at one theater I was at because they're super honest, they work hard, and they're always fucking happy. They're always happy. They're happy people. What did I say?
I just thought about somebody asking a Mormon who killed Jesus.
Well, hold on. No, you're gonna like this. Hold on. So one of the kids, and there was 3 that I kind of hung out with. They were all like seniors in high school, or I think one of them maybe was a junior, and they were hardworking kids. So this kid had saved up some money, and his parents had some, gave him some more money, and he bought some form of GM massive convertible antique fucking car. Like this thing, it was like a Le Mans or a Bonneville or something. This thing was like 4 boats tied together, and with a convertible top. And that, his dad got it for him because it was cheap. He could hit basically a tank with it and it wouldn't matter. And again, it was cheap. Right. And he couldn't put gas in it. So he wasn't going anywhere.
You do have to have a long distance plan to call the back seat. It's
right. Yeah. And he wasn't going to go very far because he couldn't afford to put gas in that bitch. So we're cruising down Bell Road. And at that time in history, there was a section of it that was really rural. It ran out by the lake, and so we were kind of coming from one part of town to another, and I'm riding. So it's this girl and another Mormon dude in the back seat, me and the other Mormon dude who was driving up front, and basically I had left my car at one theater, and they were taking me back to my car because I had split a shift. Anyway, so we're driving along, and he's not really speeding. He's only had his license for like a week. He's not really speeding, but he's going a little quick. So he gets pulled over. And this, and I keep in mind, this is like 1991, 1992. So this like typical Tennessee lifer cop comes strolling up and he sees 4 young people in the car. And he looks at John and he says, "Boy, I've been waiting on you all day." And without missing a beat, John looks up in his most honest Mormon voice, says, "I got here as quick as I could, officer." And that dude died fucking laughing. I killed the Sasquatch.
Baby girl, that is a good one.
and that cop died laughing, and John's sitting there like, because he realized what he said after that. He's like, "Fuck, I'm going to jail," you know. He's like, "Holy shit, what did I just say?" And, and the cop's dying laughing, and he let him off with a warning and a "Hey, you know, I see you got your license a week ago. Don't be stupid, kid." But it was great. It was the best thing ever, and I was so glad that I was there to witness that. You'll just never forget John looking up at him saying, "I got here as quick as I could, officer."
It's good stuff, man.
And, didn't miss a beat. No, like, pause to think about it. It's just like, you know, it's probably what he tells his dad when his dad says, "Hey, why aren't you home? Why you took forever to get here? Got here as quick as I could, Dad."
You ever move any bulk material, like long strip material, steel, aluminum, anything like that?
Yeah, we moved. I've towed lots of things all the way across the country. So
not so much towing. I'm talking about the dollies they use to carry it when they're like shrink wrapped.
Oh yeah.
The weird little T-post things. Right. I was unloading a truck full of this stuff off of a delivery truck. The loading bay is like dug down into the hillside so that the truck can back down, and it makes everything flat and level for you to roll it across. Mm-hmm. We're moving one of these things out of the truck. It hits the ramp going down, and as soon as it hits that ramp, one of the wheels locks up. It takes a right turn, and I shrugged and was like, "Shit, this is going to fall over. I can't stop it." So I hopped in the hole and went under the truck, climbed up the other side. I come up before it tipped over. I'm standing there when it tips and falls in. Everybody panics. They said, "Oh my God, he's under it." And I said, "Who's under it?" We jumped over, started pulling all that aluminum off. 10 minutes goes by, and finally I'm like, "Who are we looking for?" "We're looking for Sasquatch." "I'm right here." I bailed out way early, y'all, like way early. They had already had like a phone call to the ambulance. Like that was already happening. The whole thing had happened before anybody realized I'd left that corner, because I saw it coming from a mile away. I saw that wheel locked up with, there's 4 people pushing this dolly and it's going downhill. Even if I said something, I can't stop it. It's just going to fall over. Too late. I couldn't get up and out. I couldn't go around in front. I couldn't go around and back. The only place to go was under in the hole before it fills up. So I ended up trying to save myself for 10 minutes and didn't know it.
There you go. That's okay. I hadn't seen that before. I've seen a lot of weird things happen, and a lot of things happen with fire, honestly. Because there was I did race cars for so long. Fire is just like part of it. Like, who cares? Well, like, fire doesn't even bother me anymore. Because I've been on fire a few times, and it's just not that.
Hold on, sir. I've been on fire my damn self. You can't tell me it don't bother you. That's bullshit.
So I was welding one day, and I had apparently spilled like some denatured alcohol or acetone or one of the degreasers I was using to clean the aluminum off.
You weren't on fire. The alcohol was on fire. That's
my gloves and everything. So I'm like welding, and I'm like, man, my hand's getting really, really hot. Like what's going on here? Because I'm like, this is unusual, and I didn't really think that much about it. I thought maybe I had, something was, I put my hand in the wrong places. I really didn't think and I'm sitting there just welding, and all of a sudden I hear, hey, and I'm like, so I flip my hood up, and I'm like, what? And I look down, and my whole arm is like on fire. And they're like, hey, you're on fire. And I'm like, yeah, okay, thanks for sharing. And I was
always blamed for fires that I didn't start. Like, for some reason, everyone who knew me just knew I was some kind of fire.
I blame you too, honestly.
I do kind of blame them. I'm not gonna lie, but I was never the type of person to play with fires. Fire always scared me. Right? It's really easy. Fire's not alive, has no mind, doesn't plan anything, and will completely screw you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
There's no accounting for it. And it always kind of made me sad that every time a fire would bust out somewhere near me, I would end up catching I would be blamed for it until they found out who did it. And then they just stare at me like, yeah, well, we'll get you one day. And I'm like, I'm not burning shit. I'm not that guy. It's not me.
I've had to catch a race car on fire a couple of times. There's something about standing in front of a car that you know is not going to stop unless you stop it. That's pretty, that's
yeah.
So I don't know. I've had a lot of, I'm sure that other people have had like really strange experiences as well, and had like weird stuff go on in their lives. But it's not like I went out of my way to have it happen. I've just been there. Like
none of us do, man. None of us go out of our way to have the weird things happen.
If you ask my wife, she'll tell you 100% that I was like, why are you even doing that? And so I would call her up and I'd be like, yo, this happened. And she's like, what are you doing? Welcome, Yetter. Good to see you. We're just kind of shooting the shit right now. I was going to talk more about the Doge battle that we got going on later tonight. But
let's do it. Talk about Doge.
Right. What do you do? So I kind of went down the rabbit hole with Doge, man. And I figured out a lot of stuff that I didn't know before. And now I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I do understand, but it's shocking the job the press is able to do to completely fuck people up. Like completely mind fuck people. Like it is insane how they have the ability. Like, for example, did you know that Doge as an effective department in Trump's administration, it ceases to exist July 4th, 2026.
I was unaware of that.
Yeah, nobody talks about that. That everybody's talking about how how Trump is mad at Elon and he's kicking him out, and Elon's moving on to other projects in a few weeks. Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah,
Elon only committed 130 days to help Trump.
So
and basically, he just kickstarted it, put the people in place. That's his job, and now he's already kind of checked out of the day to day.
I have a little bit of a confession. So my Sunday night shows is with Captain Curmudgeon, and he's a big time Trump, Elon, Doge aficionado. So I do know a little bit about what they're doing and stuff, but it's mainly vicariously through him.
Sure. Well, I didn't know that. I was wondering why over the past couple of weeks Elon's kind of moved back more towards. He's been spending a lot more time at Tesla. He's been spending some more time at Yetter. I said hello, brother. I did. Remember? We can roll the tape back.
Here, let me help him out a little bit.
Yeah.
Hello, Yetter. How are you doing this afternoon? I'm glad you decided to show up. Did you manage to get all the Cheeto stains off of your fingers? Did your mom let you come out and play? Have you touched grass today? Have you gone anywhere other than the bathroom? Go ahead.
Yetter, by the way, everyone is really distracted trying to figure out who Kissy Cat's boyfriend is, which it says I know this person, but I know like a bunch of people, so who knows? Whatever. Why did Steelman go crazy on me the other night? Because he's Steelman. Have you met him?
Yeah, I met Steelman. It's so easy.
Is this your first day on the internet seeing Steelman? That's what he does.
I kind of like Steelman. I do. I think he's funny. I don't think he means to be funny, and if he does mean to be funny,
he is deadly serious. Like
that's the thing. He doesn't mean to be funny, but it's hilarious.
Yeah, to regular normal humans, he is funny as fuck. Because the funny thing is that he's dead serious. Like he's like when he says that Trump shouldn't have banned bump stocks, which I do agree with. And he files it under the Second Amendment. I'm like, but it's not a gun.
That's why they shouldn't have banned bump stocks. It has nothing to do with the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
All right. I'm like, if they ban bump stocks, it should not be done through an agency. It should be done through an act of Congress.
Well, the thing about the banning of the bump stocks is The thing behind the bump stocks, that's the thing that annoyed me about it, is it's a product that has nothing to do with the guns and is not controlled in any other capacity. And the only reason it was banned, there are two reasons. First, the ATF said that it effectively made, or that it did make, not effectively made, it did make a standard rifle a machine gun, which is a lie. And the NRA backed that lie up and told Trump, wrote an opinion piece telling Trump that, in their opinion, the best course through the post Las Vegas shooting was to ban bump stocks, which was again a lie, and they sold out once again. They sold out the gun owners, which is what the NRA does, and that's why you can't be a member of NRA, because they're a bunch of sellout motherfuckers. They always have been. They have been since 1928. So they're not going to change. It's 100 years, folks. 100 years.
The NRA was essentially set up to be a, quote, guns rights thing, but in reality, it's basically a secondary method of documenting gun owners in America. You can't get the ATF's list, but you can get the NRA list, and I guarantee you everyone on that list has a gun.
I mean, you're probably, I mean, that's probably a great way to look at it. You know, it's I mean, I don't know. We go way back, Yetter. Who are you? I mean, I mean, you probably are. We probably do.
I'm Earl. I'm Daryl. This is my brother Earl, and this is my other brother Earl.
Yeah. But yeah. So, but at any rate, so and he and I actually agree, right? Steelman and I actually agree on all of it, except he just has this hard line, and I'm one of those people that if you have a hard line in the sand, you need to have a reason there's a hard line in the sand, right? Like it has to be really clear. Just like I have a hard line in the sand where it comes to suppressors. Suppressors as an NFA item is insane. It should not be part of the NFA. It's not a firearm. It is at best an accessory, but it's an accessory that improves safety. It decreases the likelihood that you're going to lose your hearing.
Suppressor is a safety device.
It is a safety device. And what you know what sealed the deal on that is I went to Austria when I was just out of high school. I was in probably midway through my first year in college. And I went to Austria to visit some friends of mine that had joined the military, and they were stationed at some fucking one of the 10 air bases there in Germany, and military bases, not air bases, but. And so obviously I'm not a tourist. I don't do touristy things. So I didn't really give a shit about going to Vienna or any of that stuff. And they're like, hey, you want to go shooting after like the third day? And I'm like, I've already seen, so-and-so's Beethoven's old house and whatever. And they're like, hey, you want to go do something cool? I'm like, yeah. You want to go shooting? Yeah, absolutely. And I thought that we were gonna get on base and go to like a military shooting range where we could have cool shit and do cool stuff. But no, can't do that because civilian dude. And so we went to a gun range in Austria, and it was insane to me at the time. It was really insane to me because I'm from Tennessee. We basically shoot off our back porches. So
Georgia.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Gun ranges were like a really super new thing. And so I actually went to this gun range. So the first thing is that I didn't realize that it is illegal in Germany, which Austria is part of Germany, to own a firearm and keep it in your home without a lot of paperwork. You have to have it. You have to store your firearm at an approved facility, like a police station or a gun range. And so most people don't even own firearms; they rent them. To rent as a resident in Germany, which I was not. As a resident, you have to have a card that every year that you go and you get approved to shoot a gun, and you have to pass a test. And if you fail the test or you skip it, let's say Let's say you don't do it. You don't get certified. You can't shoot a gun. You can't even shoot it. You can't even rent it. Like, not let alone own it. Right. So I, being from America, they were just like, yeah, you're okay. You're cool. And they're right. Like, I'm from Tennessee. So you're obviously, you know what you're doing. And so they gave me a quick like safety brief and stuff. And I had to give them my passport and all that shit. You're muted, by the way. I don't know if you meant to mute yourself.
I know. I'm trying not to interrupt you.
Oh, gotcha. So but the most interesting thing is it is considered incredibly rude to shoot a weapon unsuppressed. Incredibly rude. And so for the rental guns that didn't have suppressors, now every barrel's threaded. For the rental guns, because they didn't all have suppressors for the rental guns, they had a, like, you know how you have Ear Pro in the little bucket that you reach in and you grab the foamies and you pay like 15 cents or whatever to get your Ear Pro at the gun range? They had suppressors in there that were like the equivalent of about 15 or 20 bucks US. And they were basically these plastic suppressors that would last maybe 100 rounds before they get shot out. But they did work. And you just screwed them on and you shot, and they were disposable. You just threw it away. And I'm like, well, this is insane. Like, this is the coolest thing I've ever fucking seen. And so I shot and that one event in Germany sealed the deal on me versus the NFA. The NFA is like,
it's ridiculous.
What's that?
It is absolutely ridiculous. The NFA,
absolutely ridiculous.
Whole concept behind the ATF is that people can't be trusted to make their own decisions.
Yes.
If that wasn't for that, the ATF would never have existed.
Yes.
You are not. But I want to ask you, how many machine guns have been used in crimes in the last 20 years?
The number has increased, but up until about 2000, it was one. It was an M16 that was the duty weapon of a police officer, I believe in Memphis, actually, that was used and he went nuts, tried to kill his ex-wife or something. Since then, there have been two or three others. What's shocking is the way that this works. Two incidences have been with MAC 10 chambered in 380 with suppressors used by either husbands to try and kill their wives or wives to kill their husbands. I can't remember which I can't remember which incident was which, but if you look it up, that's what you'll find. And then other than that, I think that's all three incidents of legal, fully automatic, or suppressed weapons used in homicides.
All right. So if you go into the illegal places where you'll actually find all of the big name events, that's the thing a lot of people who are gun grabbers don't realize. Making something illegal doesn't make it non-existent. It simply means you got to catch them first. That being said, when you make a piece of metal printed out on a card illegal, that doesn't make the reset trigger is illegal. That doesn't make the switch itself just disappear. Take an AK. You can use a piece of freaking coat hanger to rack an AK over.
Dude, you can buy a full auto trigger pack for $50. Like, or you used to go. I don't know what they cost now, but they used to be like $50 for a full auto trigger pack. So I had an HK93.
Don't do that. But ladies and gentlemen in the chat, do not do that.
No, I mean, look, you can do it as long as you don't own an AK. Don't own an AK.
The ATF will be at your house before the package.
They probably won't, but they probably won't let you do something else. But here's the thing. So I had an H&K 93. The 93 is a 223 full-size rifle, and I had a 53, which is the shorty. And at one point in time, I made money by buying and selling NFA items. So I would buy I've owned several MP5s. So I'd buy a full auto MP5, I'd own it for 2 or 3 years, and then I would sell it for $3, $4, $5 more than I paid for it every single time. I have a registered, what's called an RDS, registered drop-in auto sear, and it cost $20 in 1982. In 1982, it was mail ordered for $20 American. in 1986 or 88, whenever the amnesty happened, it was registered as a machine gun. So now it's transferable. I paid $3,000 for that. I've been offered 18 I've been offered 18 solid, and I've been kind of hinted at that somebody pay me 20 grand for it. So, but that basically drops in most ARs and will turn them into select fire.
I have a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Stay on topic.
Okay.
Doge.
All right. So well, you asked me about Steelman, and then his big thing was firearms. So Doge, like I said, the actual prompt is Doge, has it lived up to its promise? Now, I'm obviously going with a positive. I think they have. I think they've actually gone further than expected, but there's obviously room still, right? But I don't think anybody expected what they've uncovered, right? And
yeah, kind of. We did. I knew there was some shady trash going on with America's money. We all knew it because we make so much ridiculous amount of money that it disappearing into a black hole with no evidence had to be fraud.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't think people understood that there were billions upon billions of dollars that were just not accounted for. I think most people thought it was bad, but I don't think they really understood how bad it was. Now, I'm not saying people like you and I who look at this and go, this is insane. This is absurd. I'm talking about, like normies or leftists who think that, no, nobody would lie about that. Like, I mean, just for example, so one of the things that I researched was the prior investigations, for example, into U.S. aid, right? And what actually, what actually had been uncovered long before Elon Musk went after them. So just a couple of things I found. They had question just in the questionable expenditure section. They gave $2 million for pottery classes in Morocco that never existed. It never, there was nothing there. It never existed.
That's a payoff for somebody somewhere.
Sure, yeah, right, exactly. There was aid to terrorist groups that was paid out in humanitarian aid to terrorist groups that don't exist. These people were made up. They don't exist. But they were paid. I mean, somebody was paid, but those people don't exist. So who got paid? I don't know. I don't know who got paid. Sesame Street in Iraq, right? $20 million investment was made for a Sesame Street program in Iraq, which did exist, kinda, but never actually happened. Okay, it kind of existed. I mean, it's really crazy, man. Like, it actually I couldn't make it up if I wanted to, right? Like, and this is before Doge and Musk got involved. But in the 2000s to 2020s, repeated audits found billions of dollars wasted on mismanaged projects in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Africa. Billions.
Okay,
and they knew about it.
Let's take a grip on Africa real quick. Africa, the only white man that should be in Africa is Alan Quatermain. Otherwise, it will just suck every bit of energy, resources, and anything that gets sunk into it. I don't care how you invest it. I don't care how you invest it. Look at Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast went and dug wells for villages that didn't have wells. Do you know why those villages didn't have wells? Because warlords take over the wells.
Oh, there you go.
The villages are built away from the wells so they can go and negotiate with the warlords, right? So when Mr. Beast went through and built a bunch of wells without really thinking about it, he just provided them equipment, the know-how, the manpower, and all that stuff. Suddenly, the warlords are showing up at the wells, like they always have.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why he caught so much smoke.
So in 2016, an audit found $210 million meant for Afghan health clinics was unaccounted for. The clinics did not exist. They didn't exist. Where did that's $210 million, bro. Just don't exist. Didn't exist. And that's in 2016. All right. So, U.S. aid put billions into Afghanistan for reconstruction after 9/11 that never happened. Never happened. Didn't exist. Doesn't exist. The money was spent.
Captain Curmudgeon covered some of that one on one of the shows we did a couple of weeks ago. He was like, it never happened. There were never any construction companies. No one ever received the money. The money is still
employees. There's a name, there's a serial number, and there was a check written, but that person doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. Oh, man. You can absolutely post Mike's Discord, Naomi. You can do whatever you want. Post it right up. $43 million, and this is an infamous one, was spent on a natural gas filling station that should have cost $500,000. $43 million
for one.
For one that should have cost 500 grand. Right?
We could have had 10, 15, 20, and somebody could have still grifted.
I can't even make this. Like, if I made stuff up, it wouldn't be this bad. Right? The U.S. aid also, and I keep talking about Haiti, the Haiti earthquake relief, multiple investigations found mismanagement, missing funds, and barely any housing built, like almost none. Like, they went over there, they threw a tent up, called it housing, and they left and cashed a check for $500 billion, whatever the fuck it was, or million, what, I don't know, whatever. So only 2% of the housing that was paid for by American tax dollars was actually built. 2%. This is crazy.
How do we get some of that money? That's my question.
Obviously, I am not crooked enough.
Right? I must not be either.
I'm just
a factor. You can pay me to say anything.
I've been called a liar, thief, and crooked half my life, but obviously I'm not crooked enough. The government's not paying me. Oh man. But then I did a bunch of research on the leadership. This is best. The former UN ambassador under Obama, Samantha Power, Sam Power, sounds like a dude, it's a chick. Okay. Criticized for politicizing the aid, selling it to America, emphasizing climate justice, gender equality. You may have heard those words before. Spending over core humanitarian needs. So she actually stood before the American people and said, yeah, we should be building houses in Haiti, but instead we're going to teach their kids it's okay to be gay. Okay. All right.
Oh, man. Oh,
and she refused transparency. Absolutely shut it down, refused it. You couldn't even talk about this is all documented in the House Foreign Affairs Committee in 2023 when they actually held her feet to the fire. And she stonewalled multiple congressional inquiries into the various amounts of funding for the NGOs. Obama appointee Samantha Powers, ladies and gentlemen. Power, not Powers. Samantha Power. She did great work for somebody. We don't know who.
Somewhere.
Somebody somewhere got a lot of money. Gail Smith, USAID administrator during the Obama administration, criticized for overseeing waste during Ebola and foreign health initiatives. Most of the money spent never made it anywhere outside the United States of America. Now, this is for Ebola. Like, this is a deadly disease, Ebola. People die. Like, you don't get better from that, right? Without serious help.
Well, there's a point.
Fuck those guys. Fuck those guys. They don't get their aid. Fuck those guys, right? That's what she said, right? It's just Gail being Gail. Yeah, we all have a Gail in our lives. It's that way. You know what I mean? And anyway, so once again, strong ties to partisan NGOs, Clinton-linked organization. She was Hillary Clinton linked to Hillary Clinton, this Gail person. Anyway, and now we finally get to the one dude that I was able to really find some shit on. Mark Green, who was a Trump-era USAID head before the Doge Musk era, generally respected, but still faced bureaucracy and entrenched inefficiency, which means he went in there as a dude and came out as a dudette because they emasculated his ass, because anytime he wanted to get anything done, they said, no, you can't see that. You can't see that. No, I'm sorry, sir. That's a compartmentalized information, sir. You can't talk to you about that. Where'd that $210 million go, sir? Please calm down. We can't talk to you about that. $210 million worth of taxpayer money. Don't you worry, sir. It's being taken care of. We have top men on it. Right now. That's exactly right.
Trust me, bro. That's what that is. That's
it's the Trust Me, Bro administration. Yeah. So that was the one dude, and all he can be accused of is not doing his damn job. Probably because he couldn't, because he was stonewalled by everybody else who had been there since Obama. The House Oversight Committees in 22-23, again, I already talked about that. The funding for USA was grilled about the funding and NGOs in Gaza that had Hamas links. We literally paid for the tunnels. That's not a lie. When the Israelis say that the U.S. government paid for the tunnels, they're not lying. USAID paid Hamas. Hamas used the money to do two things: buy bombs, build tunnels. That's what they did. Not buy bandages. They didn't build a hospital. Well, they built a hospital on top of the tunnels, but but they didn't do it. They didn't do what they said they were going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of that shit happened the way that you think it happened. Congress members were criticized USAID for massive gaps in vetting and reckless grant distribution. That's from the House Oversight Committee transcripts 2022. They were literally, like, people knew about this, but nobody could stop it. It's like the train wreck that never stopped wrecking. So that's and so when people criticize Doge for or Doge for going after USA because it's a charitable organization and it did a lot of good in the world and all that other bullshit, you can't find an example, a factual example of anything USA did that was part of its actual mission. What it really did is it laundered money for politicians. I promise you that most of that money never made it offshore, except in the Swiss bank accounts or in the Cayman Islands, one of the two. So, and you know, and I wrote up some cool rhetoric, like every dollar wasted abroad is a dollar stolen from honest Americans. Or even not dishonest. Look, I'm not going to discriminate against the dishonest Americans. They're getting fucked too. Okay? Like even the people who lie, cheat, and steal on their taxes, they're still getting fucked. Right? Like
right?
Like, I'm not going to discriminate against I'm not classist here. We're all getting fucked by our government. And literally there's so much waste. And I concentrated on USA because there's such a big deal. And I'm 90% sure that they're going to bring up firing all of the senior staff at USAID and basically shutting down the organization as this blow to humanitarian aid throughout the world. But there is no such thing as humanitarian aid when linked to Doge. All it is an exchange of money from one group in the United States to another group based in the United States, and that's it. I can't find anywhere where they actually did anything for anyone that checks out.
Surprise curveball. Somebody brings up the gutting of the Department of Education. Go.
Well, I like that. Well, all right. I think that the recommendations for gutting the DOE is sound. I think it's actually one of the best plans I've seen. I would like to see some refinement. I personally think we ought to just kill the whole thing. Like literally just walk in, fire everybody, burn it to the ground, DOE, kick it all back to the states, and that's it. None of it. Like, I don't care. I don't care that the DOE, I don't care about people losing their jobs in the DOE if they're not teachers. And even then, those teachers should be employed and are employed by the state, not the federal government. So fuck it. Let the state sort it out. That's where we need to be. My tax dollars should not be paying for bisexual thought experiments in California. Okay. I don't want that. I'm in Tennessee. Keep my tax dollars in Tennessee. By the way, Tennessee refused Department of Education spending or monies because we didn't want the ties that went with it that would have pushed DEI and the transgender education movements into our schools. So we said, we don't want that. We don't want your money. We didn't want the strings tied to it. Our governor literally said, we don't want the money, keep it. And literally the Democrats blew the fuck up because obviously they want the money and they want the strings attached to the money. Just because somebody tells you it's a good idea to take that $10, it may not be a good idea to take that $10 because you're going to owe that guy something. And I like to know what I'm going to owe before I take the money.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Another curveball. Social Security. Go.
So I don't think they're really going to talk about Social Security because so far Doge really hasn't gotten to it. They've made some recommendations, but they haven't really gotten to it. So I really can't answer the Social Security aspect of it beyond that. The way that the government keeps ripping off Social Security to fund other parts of the government that it was never meant to fund is criminal, and it should be that all of that should stop. Social Security should be Social Security as it was intended if we want to keep it that way. Now, personally, I think Social Security is a joke and it's a trap for old people, and we need to get rid of it. But that's my own personal opinion. It has nothing to do with making a good argument about it.
All right, Jake, give me some more subjects to throw at him on this point.
Ryan Lopez asked, "What's the hard answer? How has efficiency been improved?" Well, so far we're only saving money, right? Like so, and Doge can only make the recommendations. The real issue that we have is Doge makes a recommendation to Trump saying, "Hey, we have 4 different agencies overseeing the same thing, and that we only need one." Trump says, "Okay, well, let's do this. Let's do this." So the Department of Commerce, the IRS, the FBI, and Department of Energy should not all be overseeing power plants. Okay, so let's let the Department of Energy oversee power plants and keep the FBI out of it. We don't need the IRS checking on it, and we don't really need a Department of Commerce. We don't need, so we can eliminate 100 people right there, right? And so that would be good, right? So that's one thing. I mean, obviously, saving money is being more efficient, right? Like not paying for not having warehouses full of useless things that we don't need. not paying the highest possible cost for the lowest quality product. That kind of stuff is all good, but really what I think they're really concentrating on, Doge is concentrating on, and I think that the recommendations they're making are all based around where is the money we're currently spending going? Let's get a handle on that, and then we'll move on.
Not paying people to duplicate work done by other departments is a major thing.
Huge. It's absolutely huge. And I don't know how they can run from that, right? Like,
but no, my point is, by definition, that is efficiency.
Yeah. That's the most inefficient thing that we have going right now is when you have, you have a power plant, right? And the Department of Energy oversees it, and they have regulations, and they have a team that's dedicated to that power plant. And you have the Department of Commerce, and they have a team that checks the same exact fucking things to oversee that power plant. And then you have the IRS that oversees that power plant to make sure everybody's getting, make sure all the employees are getting paid and they're qualified or whatever. So why is it that we have all of it? And there's other agencies too, right? Like I'm just picking some out at random. So that's where that efficiency is going to pick up long term. Short term, they've been able to target gross fraud, waste, and abuse, and that inherently makes things more efficient when you get rid of that. Right. So I do have it defined. Let me. I got to scroll through my notes here. I got my notes are fucking wrecked, by the way. So give me that. All right. So the scope of Doge was really simple: is to identify the waste, slash the fraud, dismantle the inefficiency, and modernize operations without growing government. That was the scope of Doge. And I think they're on their way to doing all of it. So far, I think promise fulfilled. The responsibility was to not make bureaucrats comfortable. They are tasked with making people uncomfortable and working for the American people and not for the American government. Now, I think that that's an Elonism. I think that that's Elon's personal slant, and I think Trump echoes it. I could be wrong about that. It's just, there was an article with that phrase in it attributed to Elon, and I liked it, so I stole it. The limitations are they have executive authority only, which means that they can't actually fire people themselves. They can only recommend that this group of people be fired. They can only recommend that a facility be shut down, but once they do, they can be the ones to shut it down, assuming that Trump says okay. So that's a limitation. Trump also put a limitation of no new taxes, no new programs, and no blank checks. And so far, Doge has lived up to that. They have strict oversight. They have limited engagement. And again, the two things that people don't realize is Elon's service is limited to 130 days. And on the backside of that, Doge ceases to exist July 4th, 2026. So I think that is the definition that we're working within. So yes, are they moving fast? Absolutely, they are. So what they have delivered so far is they've got over 260,000 dead weight federal jobs have been slated for elimination. Some of them have actually been eliminated. More are on the block. They've been identified, and they're just, obviously they don't go in and just, I think they did lay off like 150,000 people. They fired 150,000 in one sweep. So maybe they've gotten the 260,000 already, but I know that there's more. They have over 150 billion in verified savings, real dollars, not fantasy math, not this is real. This is real money, verified. They have major bloated agencies like USA and CFPB have been dismantled or reformed, realigned, whatever. Guys, if you're trying to talk to me in chat, I can't read off of my notes because they're really disjointed, and I mean, you haven't seen the way I make notes, so you would understand. So reading chat is hard for me while I'm trying to do that. The inefficiencies were exposed across departments still running on technology from the 1970s. They've not upgraded. They show no interest in upgrading. And we see this even in the Department of Defense, where because they can't hack it, the DoD doesn't want to use the Signal app in its secure communications. And Hegseth is proof of this, because they hate that he uses Signal because they can't read his mail. They can't read his text messages to his wife. They can't read anything. And they hate it. The DoD is used to reading what they fucking want to read, and they're pissed. They're so pissed. These guys are used to being get what they want, and now they're not, and they don't want to use new technology like Signal, because if they do, they can't. That prevents them from reading their mail. Let's see. Yeah, so that's let's see. Now the progressives will accuse. Obviously, they're going to accuse us of destroying essential services. Those didn't save the full $2 trillion. Okay, well, $2 trillion was over like 10 years, I think. Whatever, I don't know. I don't know how that math worked. I'm not a math guy. They can't really complain about transparency because Doge has been super transparent so far, like ridiculously transparent. And the one thing that I would possibly conceive of, the one thing I could possibly conceive of conceding is that there are other agencies that should be doing Doge's job, the GAO, the Inspector General offices, that sort of thing. But every single one of those are corrupt as fuck, and Doge has exposed the corruption, which leads hopefully to reformatting, rehiring, new policies, and we can go forward. So I don't know. What do you think, Swatch? How was that?
Time for you to take a breather. You did pretty good on that one. Just sit down in the corner, get you a good squirt of juice in your mouth, swish it out. You're going to have to go another round here in about a minute and a half, and we'll get you back on topic. But one of the most brilliant things I think they did was that email that they sent out to all employees saying, tell me what you do. What did you do today? That kind of thing. Because a certain number of those people weren't real people, and they didn't answer their emails. And so those just got gone without any discussion.
Mm-hmm.
God knows how many of those employees existed. No one knows. No one will ever know. We just get a lump sum after everybody went and no clue. That was genius, dude. That email, I laughed.
It really was. And the leftists went nuclear over it. They thought it was like the most discriminatory thing they'd ever heard. And all they're literally doing is asking, what did you do at work today? That's a fair ask. We're paying.
It was really what do they call it? Like a phishing email, and it was phishing for lack of response. If you didn't respond, that paycheck never went out again.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Well, I think they said that, didn't they? They said that to get paid, you have to finish this.
Genius, absolutely genius. Without a response, the automatic system just does not send out the next payroll.
Yeah.
God knows how much money that right there saved right off the top. These are future checks that will never go out forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really just, so these are the arguments I'm going to use. And I just don't, I've listened to their arguments. Their arguments are really baseline, right out of the DGG playbook. They're going to just cry about the stuff that's in the mainstream media. I've gone so deep into this and come out with the actual facts, with the actual agencies. with the most of the things I have sources for, and I've tried to have at least 2 sources, not just one. But
You gotta when you do your debate set, you usually go live when I'm live or after I go to bed, so I miss a lot of your stuff. I know you've been transferring into the whole debate sphere thing. Are you coming in this as a moderator or as a debate bro?
I do both. I mean, I moderate my own show,
Sure.
and I debate on other people's show. So this will be on the Raging Tomato tonight.
Cool. I'm going to try to show up for the trash fire if I can manage to stay up that late. We'll see.
So it's going to be on the Tomato. It is. It's me and Pentuple, who's a lawyer. He's a real estate lawyer, but he did go to law school, and he's he's a pretty solid dude, and he's very laid back until he isn't. But it is possible to get him to spurg out. So we'll see.
How deep are you willing to go into a winning debate strategy live? Like, because if they're spurgable,
dude, I'd go for I'm almost trying. So the one guy, he seems like he's like super laid back. The other guy, I think I can make him rage quit. And I wanted to try the other night on Tomato, and the guy just never talked, and he never gave a position on anything. And then Tomato had to jump off because her son like fell or something. I don't know what he did, but they had to take him somewhere to see someone. And she ended the stream like that. So I wasn't able to get a handle on it. But the one guy, he seems pretty confrontational, and I'm 90% sure I could probably get a rage quit out of him.
Okay, so that's plan B.
Yeah.
Plan A, come on, champ. You can do it. You're the man. I'm gonna slap you on the spring you down with some water on top,
Yeah. I think the arguments are. I don't think they have a chance against the arguments. I mean, I've watched the one guy debate it, and his arguments were so bad. So I hope that he's watching right now. I really hope the opposite. I've done this show like 3 times. I've shown most of my, not all of it, but most of my debate prep, just so that they have some inkling of how to defend. But I think their arrogance is going to get over them. Now, both of these guys, I think all together they have about, I think altogether they maybe have 500 subs,
So how triggerable are you by them?
Oh, not at all. I don't care. It's really hard to actually trigger me. So,
okay.
I mean, Flo tried for like 6 months.
Should I try?
Oh, you can.
I mean, you kind of look like a thumb with a smile.
I do actually. You know what's really funny is it is when I have, you can make out my chin now, but every now and again you can, I start looking all weird and gangly because I'm old, but that's okay. I'm good with that.
No, you're good fun. I ain't gonna take it to you too hard. Tell you what, show up on my birthday, February 2nd. We'll do the groundhog roast. It's no holds barred, bro. No holds barred. You want to come at me hot and heavy? Go ahead. That's cool because I'm firing back, and I'll be shooting shots starting at like 9 a.m. that morning. So,
I've never drank or smoked or done drugs or anything like that.
And that's why you glow in the dark.
Probably.
Yeah.
Ryan Lopez says, "Can you read without a tooth?" I have all my tooths, pretty sure. I do have a broken one where my brother punched me in the mouth when I was a kid, but he's missing one for punching me in the mouth as a kid.
That was a decent exchange.
He broke mine. I took his. So whatever. I'm pretty sure I can get Ryan the Radical Coder to spurg in chat. I think he's going to be like absolutely going nuts. So
I kind of feel like he's already made a decision in this. I've got one myself named Not Laws, who is like, he's not stupid. I know he's not stupid because he makes the most illogical arguments in the most logical way, in the only possible interpretive way where it makes sense. That's the only way he's one of those people who'll just repeat the same phrase over and over again, because if you say it any other way, it's absurd.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think the argument's pretty tight. I do need to work on my opening.
All right. How long is your opening?
What do they give you on tomato now? Is it like 3 minutes?
Depending, you can go a minute or 3 minutes. I mean, it depends on how many people are supposed to be on panel, how long each one of them say. There'll be a little discussion right before y'all go live. Maybe that'll kind of clarify that sometimes, because I generally go very succinct. If I'm going to do any type of an opening statement, I just make it very blatant. And the one debate I did on the Raging Tomatoes, after I got done with my opening statement, the entire panel agreed with me, and I went, I guess we're done. Did I just win? Like, I don't know where to go from here. I can't disagree with you if you agree with me. Come on, work with me.
Yeah, my opening arguments are usually like, these guys are idiots, and let's get into it. I'm pretty much just like cut them off right at the ankles. Yeah. Clover Tack says, let me try to trigger grid. He doesn't really own any pews. He's actually scared of them against the 2A and has no experience. Those on the wall are water blasters. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing your hat today, bro. I would trigger Clover Tack, but at his advanced age, that could be the end of him. So I got to treat him with kid gloves, because we might break him. He's a national treasure. He was around when Washington rode the Delaware. So,
how long is your opening statement? Not how long do you have to give it?
3 minutes. About 3 minutes right now. I'm trying to get it to like 4 minutes, 5 minutes, but because I'm pretty positive my opposition's gonna like
filibuster.
Yeah, they're gonna talk for like whatever. If the opening 7 minutes, they're gonna do like 7.5 minutes. So.
Right. Okay.
But I normally keep mine really, and I don't even do I don't have an actual like written down opening statement. It's just I have a bunch of points, and then I just figure I kind of watch the chat as everybody else is doing theirs, and I just pick up on the vibe, and then I just put those points together to hammer it out.
That's what I was going to suggest. Is it depending on whether you start or close, right? If you've got some time to watch chat, you can adjust your points that you're going over in chat. Also, depending on how badly they go over time, it might do better sometimes to be more succinct.
Yeah.
It's not always be the standoffish one is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So Yetter, how do I know you? I'm very curious. I'm very, very curious. Ryan Lopez, I haven't been able to watch your arguments. Is Lopez arguing before or against?
He seems to be largely for Doge, or at least pointing out the things that he believes not for Doge, but for the government as opposed to Doge. Arguing against Doge seems to be. Sorry, my words in English. I am from Georgia. How much you expect from me? Milledgeville area. 2 hours south of Atlanta.
Okay. I used to drive through that area. Do you know where Kershaw, South Carolina is?
Never been there, but I've seen the sign. Something close.
Yeah, there's a racetrack there. We used to race there, and so I was in.
I may have been there actually. I
was at. I worked in North Carolina, so I would come down through South Carolina, through North Georgia, down to all the way down to the Savannah 2 or 3 times a year. So I got to see most of North Georgia, whether I wanted to or not.
Well, to be honest with you, man, North Georgia is where it's at. You get down to South Georgia, you might as well be in East Texas. They ain't no freaking difference. I mean, it's flat, flat, flat. You ain't got nothing but onions, soybeans, and taters and corn, and that's it.
Yeah.
Sunflowers sometimes.
Yeah.
Pigs, cows.
Mm-hmm.
That's over by Claxton too, so you'd have a bunch of chickens. Bunch of chickens.
I actually kind of like North Georgia. I've been
North Georgia's balls, dude.
I'm in Chattanooga a fair amount, so
a lot of people misunderstand North Georgia as being like alpine mountainous type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In reality, it's a cloud forest.
Yeah. Well, it's cloudy. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, they say, oh, it's the rainforest of Georgia. It's not really a rainforest. It's a cloud forest, bro. Like, you get up there, if you're on the right side of the mountains, you wake up in the morning, it's bright and clear, and there's not a freaking cloud in sight. But if you're on the left side of the mountains, you wake up and it's pea soup. You wake up in your bedroom, you can see the fog in the room with you. Like, it's freaking thick, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting, it's pretty interesting to, well, hang on. I gotta reply to my wife 1 second.
Should I tell jokes until you get back?
Sorry. We're in the middle of doing some stuff, so I had to reply back.
Or life is first. YouTube is a hobby.
YouTube is a hobby, but we're in the middle of buying a couple of businesses, and one of the, actually both of the deals last week took wildly different directions. And so we're like, we may have just, both of these may have just been torched. Like, we may have to just drop both of them and move on. And I'm like really, really close to doing that exact thing. Like,
sometimes the greatest thing one can do is nothing.
Yeah, actually. And it's stuff that we, like there are very few things once you get into it that will kill a deal that you can't just, like, if you figure your workaround out. But, like, I mean, just for example, we have this one business we're looking at. They've been paying basically the same rent since like 95 or something. So that it hasn't gone up in like forever, maybe 2002, whatever it is, doesn't matter. And so I was pretty, we're like, okay, that's fine. We understand that at some point there'll be an increase. We're just going to win. Well, it turns out the building, and we knew that the building had been for sale, but it turns out it actually is selling now, like right now. And the new owner, where it has been at a ridiculously low rent, like $3,000 a month, for 8,400 square feet. Now they want to raise that to $19 a square foot, which is basically $13,000 a month. And that's a big jump, man. That's a big jump. And so now it's like, well,
and it will go up more in the future, and you know it.
Yeah. And so we're like, well, and so that when I talked to the broker for the buyer last week, and he told me that. And so I sent an email to the business seller, and I'm like, hey, this has the potential this changes a lot. It could change everything. And we need to get, this is what we need to feel comfortable moving forward. And he wrote back, the biggest part of it, he's like, yep, I'm not going to do that. I'm absolutely opposed to that option. I'm like, okay. So all weekend we've been kind of trying to figure this out. And basically we have two options. We have several options, but one of the options is we just walk away. We're just like, whatever, find another business. There are lots of them out there. And we can walk away. We can pay less for, if he'll take it, we can pay less for the business, which will cover the difference in cost for the rent increase. for the first year, and in that timeline, build a building and then relocate the business. A relocation will cost us more than we pay for the business, right? Because by the time we buy the land, build a building, and then move the business, we've now spent more on that than we bought the purchase price of the business. So it's an interesting, you know,
I don't see profit on that. And not knowing anything, you're selling widgets. It doesn't matter what you're doing.
Yeah, you don't have to know what it is. It's just
so that process is more resource heavy than simply finding a different business to invest in.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of where we're at. Either it has to we have to renegotiate to where it makes financial sense to do it. I mean, I'm not opposed to building a building. That's fine. I'm not opposed to rearranging the deal. It just has to circle back to where, you know, what was going to cost us, you know, about $500,000 doesn't cost me. It still costs me $500,000. It's just not, we're not paying $500,000 for the business. Right. So, and you know, again, we wouldn't count the cost of building out a new building, or relocating, but there's so many things, man. When you know, people think, well, you just go rent another building and move it. It's fine. It's not like moving your house, man. Like if we move, we more than likely, if we move where the business is now, we will more than likely lose employees. That costs money in hiring new people, training new people, and the business that's lost while we're doing that. Actually moving a business, and this is a manufacturer, they make things, so they're massive pieces of equipment that have to be moved. It's going to be $25,000 to $30,000 in moving costs. And so, you know, it's not like moving your apartment, dude. Like it's just not, you know,
I've never actually needed a forklift to move things in my apartment. It's when you have to bring in a front end loader to pick up a massive machine and move it, you got to have a flatbed to carry it over there. Like that's different. That's not the same.
Yeah. It just is what it is. You know, I mean, I'm trying really hard to figure it out. What the best path forward is, because again, it's a good business. It looks like it will make money for many, many years. It's been around for 30 years. But this is the business killer, is this increase in rent. And because basically if we walk away from the table, I don't think, because we know what the books are, I don't think they'll last another year without either significantly increasing production, which he's not willing to do because he wants to retire, or just shutting down. There's no way they can. That's it. They have two choices. Otherwise, they're just going to go out of business. They won't last. So,
well, once the rent increase goes through, that's a permanent resource thing. You'll never slug that off. All right. Opening statement.
My opening statement. Let me go back to my notes. I don't know why everybody all of a sudden is like messaging me. And
yeah, me too. Nobody talks to me at all until I go live, and it's like they remember I exist and can't wait 30 minutes to freaking send me a message. It's the weirdest thing. Half the time I'll mute my phone before I go live and not unmute it till I get about 30 minutes in.
Yeah. So Are We Not Men? The little guy, right? He reminds me of Wee Todd, but he's not. His name's not.
Does he
Todd.
have bigger feet?
I don't know. I don't know if he does or not. Anyway, so he sent someone a message who just forwarded that message to me and says, "I suggest you and Grid keep my name out of your fucking mouth. Let Grid know I'm done. I'm not there, but you faggots want to keep talking when I'm banned and can't respond." That's a Wee Todd sort of comment. That's exactly the comment Wee Todd would make. So anyway.
You got to love haters, man. I've found in my experience on YouTube, you are more defined by the people who hate you than you are by the people who support you. Because people sit around and let folks hate on you. They won't say a word. But if somebody starts supporting you, you'll have a hater speak up immediately.
Absolutely. And I need a better class of haters. Yeah.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, I'm not getting it, bro. There's much better haters out there than me.
Yeah. I don't know. Let me see if I can I had some just talking points. Basically, it goes along. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has fulfilled its mission because it dared to do what the career bureaucrats and Beltway insiders never would do, never could, never would. It is cutting the cancer out of, and I need to refine that. It is. Sorry, give me a second. It is cutting the cancer out of Washington instead of feeding it. Let's define it plainly. DOGE's mission was simple. Its scope was really precise: identify the waste, slash the fraud, dismantle the inefficiency, and modernize operations without growing government or spending more money. Its responsibility was to the American people to make the bureaucrats uncomfortable, to make them fear for their jobs. They have bureaucrats for a long time have never feared for their job. They go to work every day. Whether they get anything done or not is irrelevant to them. They honestly do not care about the taxpayer that pays their salary whatsoever. And maybe, just maybe, DOGE has struck a little tiny bit of fear in their hearts that their pet programs, their massive overspending, and their money laundering of spending on projects that don't exist and putting the money back into their own accounts, maybe we're at the point where that will end, at least some of it. And it will ease the burden on the American taxpayer, which is what this is all really about, is the American taxpayer. It was limited, right? We need to admit that it's limited. It had executive authority only, no new taxes, no bloated new programs. It largely paid for itself. There are no blank checks given to DOGE. It had some of the strictest oversight of any government program that I can think of off the top of my head. It was exceptionally visible, and it had limited engagement. Again, I go back to Elon, and of course I won't say again because you guys have heard it, but in the opening statement, it'll be the first time they're hearing it. Elon Musk made a 130-day commitment, which has been largely misrepresented by the press, as Trump is now unhappy with him because Trump has remarked publicly that Elon's about to move on. And that was planned from the beginning. DOGE itself expires July 4th, 2026. It's pre-planned. It is planned obsolescence, and it just won't be around anymore. So we already know what the budget's going to be for it. We know what we're going to spend. DOGE has delivered. Obviously, these numbers are subject to change, but we know that over 260,000 deadweight federal jobs were eliminated. Now, sure, you can look at it as a tragedy that these people were eliminated from their position and now they're unemployed and they have to go get a job like other Americans when the tax and spend economy ruins their career. But I have a hard time feeling sorry for these government employees when they should never have had the job in the first place. The job should not have existed. It was simple, massive overspending by the American government, again, on the back of the taxpayer. We have over $150 billion in verified savings. Now, yes, there's some criticism that the $200 or the $2 trillion that they estimated was a mistake, but $150 billion in verified savings is significant and more than what anyone thought they would find, and more than they're given credit for. And these are real dollars. It's not fantasy. It's not math. It's not bad math. It's not even government math. It's actual dollars that have been saved. Obviously they've attacked major agencies such as USAID, CFPB. They've exposed inefficiencies across the board. Now, my progressive opponents are going to try and cry foul. They're going to accuse Doge of destroying essential services, which is an outright lie. No essential services have been destroyed. They'll whine that Doge didn't have the full 2 trillion, as I mentioned earlier. We don't know that because we're not done yet. But that's just an estimation, and it's okay. They can whine about that. They can whine and cry all they want. Don't care. And they're going to moan about a lack of transparency that doesn't exist. Doge has been exceptionally transparent, probably more transparent than any other agency.
I have an observation on that, and this was something that we discovered during the blast radius on Sunday. We had set up to do a bit where we were going to go in and look at the different things that Doge had done because it was all laid out on the website and everything. And apparently some judge complained that it was too transparent, that people were getting to see too much, and they forced them to shut those aspects of the website down. So here we go to go live, and poof, none of the information is there because some random judge was like, no, that's too much information. And I don't remember the judge that did it, but it might be interesting to look into.
Okay. Yeah. You gave me a couple of minutes.
Oh, you do you, girl. I got no hate.
I was just scrolling up. I was trying to see if Yetter had told me how I know. He says I've known him a long time, and I may have. I know a lot of people. So I was just curious how I knew this person. So it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I know, like I said, I mean, I've been around a long time, so I know a lot of people, but I probably got a Facebook Messenger or something somewhere like, hey, I'm talking to you there, but I don't have Facebook open, so I don't know. So all of the complaints are irrelevant. Essential services weren't destroyed. 150 billion in a broken system is a monumental victory. I don't care whether you care about the claimed $1 trillion or not. That will come as the money is saved. But what we're talking about now is actual real dollars. And that's fine. Obviously, we've talked about transparency. And we don't need another 400-page report from the GAO about all of this inefficiency where everything gets lost and nobody cares about it and nobody can see it. We need the chainsaw that is Doge cutting through literally everything in its wake. Every penny wasted in Washington is a penny stolen from the American taxpayer. Every penny spent abroad is a penny that could be spent in America, making America great. We do not need to support other countries. We do not need to spend more and more and more and get less and less and less every single year. Doge has reminded Washington, whether they wanted to be reminded or not, that this is important. The American people find it important. And that is why Doge has fulfilled its promise already. And they're not even done. They still have almost a year to go. So that's it. That's my opening.
It's not terrible. Of course, you're going to have to do it with verve and vivacity when you actually deliver it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to I got to get a little more bombastic and all that. Yeah. So.
Oh, I think you got a good solid foundation on it.
Okay.
No, I'm not a lefty loony that can come in here and give you an. We need Calvin. You need to pull up Calvin over here to sit and mumble at you a whole bunch about all the things you said being not true because the government says it's not true or something. I don't know. I like Calvin. He's fun. He's tons of fun. But he is right on that party line, bro.
Well, I like Calvin too. Calvin's come in quite a few times, and at least he speaks like a human.
Right? Yes. No, I agree with that. We can have a conversation without it ending in us spitting vitriol at each other. You know, he doesn't usually go with the ad hom attack, or when he does, he's very subtle about it. And I just kind of chuckle at it and move on because most people didn't even notice it.
Yeah.
I think you're good, dude.
Cool,
Now
man.
what?
Appreciate it. Yeah, and I mean, I've got some like, I'm anticipating their arguments. So,
Hold on. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go hit myself with a hammer like 5 times in the head, and I'll come back and try to give you their.
Oh, okay, all right. You may need six times hitting the head. Ryan Lopez wants all the ad homs. Ad homs are so lame, dude. I guess, yeah. Yep. So Destiny is in Michigan while Andrew is in wherever the fuck he is, South Carolina or North Carolina. Asheville, I think. I think he's in Asheville, North Carolina.
You know, a bunch of people in Nashville.
Yeah. I used to
Family
drive
and stuff.
So
then what?
Chuck in Tennessee. So that's actually a good point. I didn't see them mention it in the arguments they made before, but it is possible that the Oppo will try and bring up the fact that Elon, because it seems to be a popular talking point right now, that Elon is a billionaire, so he shouldn't work for the government for some stupid ass reason that matters. But I don't buy into that. I do think that as transparent as Doge is being, I think it's really, really hard to gain any ground towards saying that Elon is somehow getting paid or benefits from this job he's doing at Doge. So
I had 2 bulldogs explode under my feet just now.
Well, that's not cool.
It was not cool at all.
Tell them to behave themselves.
I did. One just went to his room and the other went to his room. So they've been properly separated, but I'm going to have to go back and look and see what that caught because I didn't even know they were in here.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that several people have gone to Asheville to meet Andrew. But I'm not one of them. I could have, but I've got to actually go to New York this week, so I don't really, which I hate doing it, but I got to do it. So yeah, Elon is a special government employee. There's different criteria for that. He has he's only working for them for 130 days. I'm not even sure if he's getting a salary. I guess I should Google that.
That's an excellent point, Helping Hound. That is a perfect analogy.
What's that? What do you got?
It's a video game reference to Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout. Yeah,
the different because that was completely untested, unchecked, unmitigated government spending.
Yeah, I actually like that the TV show.
I'm not permitted to start a cult there, chairman of the board. I promised my mommy.
Okay, yeah. So Doge is not paying Elon Musk. He does not draw a government salary and acts as a special government employee. Yeah. So, all right.
You know what I think the kickback he's getting is going to be?
What's that?
A primary share of the satellite internet in the future.
Well, you know, see, I don't think that's it, but I would think
use of satellites.
I would think that he's going to, I think what's more important is the approval to place his satellites in space for Starlink.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But also,
I don't
along
think
with
he
the
wants access
approval,
to theirs, they want to use access to his.
along with that approval to launch and the windows to do so, would also be an understanding of utilization. The federal government would have a certain given amount of bandwidth to be utilized. And you know it, and I know it. There's no way that's not going to take place.
Yeah, so it looks like the Doge employees, there's like a few that are making over six figures, like right at 100 grand or so a year, which in Washington is nothing. It's actually pretty insane that they're making that little. Yeah, I don't know. Transparent about his backdoor deals. What backdoor deals? You're going to have to be more specific. How about the 480 million they tried to get the government to purchase in Tesla vehicle before getting caught? I mean, I think literally every manufacturer is trying to get the government to buy cars right now. I wouldn't. I mean, I'd be shocked if they didn't try and.
Hold on. Do you reckon Dodge is trying to get government to buy their vehicles?
I know they are.
Toyota, Nissan, any of these, you reckon they just won't try to get the government to buy their vehicles?
Dodge just extended the production of the Charger for at least another 2 to 5 years because they're the most popular police vehicle on the road.
They are, and it's such a sad thing because Stellantis has not been honoring a whole bunch of their warranties and stuff. Yeah. And that's not going to end well.
They were going to kill the Charger and the Challenger programs with V8s last year, and they extended it strictly because the government. I mean, literally, like the government's their biggest customer. So,
facts.
Do we care about that?
The government's their biggest customer too. So, I mean, it's not like that's an unusual situation. When you're in business selling a product and the government's one of the purchasers of that product, that is one of the largest customers you can possibly have.
I don't think he got caught. I guess my problem here, Calvin, is you're saying that he got caught.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean by him being subtle with his attacks, right?
He didn't get caught.
He uses words as a way.
Caught. This is public information. When you bid on a contract, it's public information. Like getting caught would be if he had gone to a senator and said, hey, we're going to sell you Teslas as Selets, where Tesla spelled backwards, and your Selats will be, half price. Now that's a backdoor deal. Putting in a legitimate government bid is not a backdoor deal. I'd like to understand that, how that's a backdoor and or other deal. I don't follow government contracts. It's not a story to me. Business people doing business people things, I do that. I mean, I'm not shady, but I promise you that I literally I'm about to buy 2 businesses that do business with the government. I mean, one of the businesses I'm buying has supplied Los Alamos and still does. I mean, I'm literally going to be calling that guy whenever that guy's in town. I will be calling him to have dinner because that's how business gets done. So I can't say it wasn't. You can't say it wasn't. You have this reversed. Just because you didn't know, and I don't care, does not make it a backdoor deal. A backdoor deal would be literally if you could not find the information without special knowledge or privilege, it was sealed in a secret document somewhere, Yeah. I don't think you can say that. I can say that, but I don't think you can. I don't think there is anybody being shady. I think you want it to be shady, and that's coloring your viewpoint, and that's fine. You can want it to be shady. I just don't believe it is. I do business with the government myself, and it's that's just me.
I'm telling you, Calvin's probably the best person you can have going on the opposing point of this. You couldn't ask for a better opposition for if you're going to be if you're going to have the people I think you're going to have. This is good.
Yeah. I think there's way more compromise out there than that. I mean, if I
was on the paddle the other day.
The fact that Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, and Volkswagen all got somehow got their automobile plants declared foreign trade zones is pretty interesting. I would consider that. I don't even know how the fuck they did that. You understand that means that anything they bring in directly from their country can't be taxed by the U.S. because it's a foreign trade zone.
Neither taxed nor tariffed.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So
they're foreign.
Isn't that just super interesting?
Foreign land on sovereign soil. And it's not an embassy.
Yeah. It's a factory. Nissan, right down the road from me.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm just saying, if you want to talk about, that kind of shit happening, I know where some bodies are buried. I don't know where they're all buried, but I know where a few of them lie.
Some of them are mass graves. What's up?
Yeah, some of them are mass graves.
Yeah.
I think it's super. Look, the fact that Tesla wanted to sell the government agencies electric cars when the government was telling everyone else to buy electric cars is not a surprise. Like that doesn't move the needle for me.
Not even a little bit, bro. I saw that coming.
I think that just now I do what I do find interesting is the steps that the government has taken to keep Chinese electric cars out of our market, because supposedly now I've only got foreign automotive publications to word for this, but supposedly the Chinese EVs are miles ahead of what we've got going on. So,
all right, I have doubts on that, and let me explain why.
Sure.
All right, so the constraints of battery technology are the constraints of battery technology. Unless they've made some breakthrough in battery technology we're unaware of, then the delivery of power is going to be about the same as we can deliver. Okay. The constraints of power usage in an electric motor has its own physical limits built into the technology that we're using currently. And unless they've either developed a way to deliver that power far more efficiently or something along those lines, I really doubt there's a major difference when it comes down to it. Now, I'm not saying they might not have come up with a computer program that delivers power exactly at the instances that it needs and thereby saves some huge amount of power. I don't know. But I'm saying as far as the physics of it, there's kind of an upper limit to that kind of stuff until we make some kind of basic breakthrough in the fundamentals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and again, I only have foreign publications words on this, right? But it seems to be pretty universal across the board, and that their EVs are miles ahead of ours. And I think it's mostly in the battery maintainer and controller technology, and not the batteries themselves.
That's right? Exactly the part I was talking about. Was like they might have some better PCM control or something, but I don't.
Yeah, well, and I also think that they maybe have a little bit of. I don't know about their advantages in battery technology, but and you know who is making a huge deal about it? Andrew Tate was talking about how he was buying his next EV supercar from China because it was like miles ahead of anything else he had seen. So not that means anything because he's just he's kind of an idiot.
I trust Andrew Tate about as far as I could throw you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have no faith in that individual whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because he's such a car snob, and some of that's kind of believable, right? Like Rimac came out and their battery technology and the way that they deliver the power is so superior to anything Tesla does. Like everybody's like Tesla's like the standard, and I'm like, I mean, if all you want to do is move from point A to point B,
well,
sure.
There's a lot in here that you're kind of skimming across the top.
Sure. I wasn't prepared for an EV discussion, but since he brought that up, okay, Calvin, I got to take issue with this, man. I don't mind good faith argument, but this says the State Department said Thursday is abandoning plans of purchasing $400 million worth of Tesla vehicles after a public document detailing federal contracts for fiscal year 2025 gained wide attention. Okay, so all that means is okay, it's unpopular, so we're not going to do it, right? Because people are burning Teslas in the street. So
that seems like a really good reason.
Anything nefarious here, right? Like, show me nefarious. Show me where that Tesla was couching the deal in another deal that hid the purchase from the American taxpayer. Show me that. Can you show me that? Because if you can't show me that, you're an idiot. So, and not that you are personally an idiot, but you're making an idiotic statement in trying to make trying to make something out of a nothing burger like this. So,
he's basically criminalizing business.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I don't. I mean, he understands Silver. He understands how headlines are framed for shock value. He's just in denial that, and he's assigning criminality and nefariousness where it's just literally they decided not to do it because of the attention it received, right? And trust me, there are far fewer reasons why federal government contracts get canceled all the time.
Yeah, and it doesn't take a public outcry to make it happen. Apparently, all it takes is a rubber stamp being denied.
Mm-hmm. Glenn Lawrence has to remove the schmegma from his ears because I said EV and he heard ED. So either he's really fucking guilty of something or
no, I mean when you've got that type of problem, it's really the only thing you can
That's the only thing you hear.
I'm gonna work with you. We've got a program set up. I'm not gonna let my Valentine go down that way. We'll have him up and around in no time.
There you go.
I got you, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I gotta get some burgers, dude. Like
I do like
really well handled.
I do not doubt that I do not doubt at all that there's absolute 100% potential for someone at SpaceX, an executive or a lower functionary, to go to his counterpart in the State Department or the GAO and say, hey, we're looking to get rid of some rockets. And we understand that NASA doesn't have any rockets. And if you would like some rockets, we'd be willing to sell them to you. But we're not technically supposed to ever sell them. So what we would do is we would loan them to you and you would pay us a service contract to service them. Now, I could see that, and that would be pretty nefarious, right? Why doesn't NASA own any rockets? Well, because they don't want to. Right? Anyway, I don't know. I mean, I could see that. That would be pretty nefarious, I think, especially if Elon himself wasn't really aware of that happening until it had already happened. And I have a funny story about that. Not Elon, but when I had a business arrangement with a specific client, and they purchased from us. And then I knew they were reselling, but I didn't really know who they were reselling to. And I didn't really care, right? Like, this is not a big deal. The problem came in that they were removing our trademarks off and putting their trademarks on and then selling it to somebody else, claiming it was their work. And it was just it was a very weird kind of deal. And I ended up having to go after them for trademark and all kinds of other stuff, which, by the way, you lose. Even if you win, you lose. I spent a bunch of money to get fucking nothing. Right. So
I got to go grill some burgers, bud. Got to feed the herd, you know.
Yeah. Go feed the herd. I'm almost done anyway. It's a little early for me to peace out, but I do have to I got to get some things done before I do the show tonight. Shout out your channel. Tell people where they can find you and what you do, and you know how you support Flow State, and keep him on the straight and narrow.
I don't do none of that. That's no one can control Flow State. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, the Powdered Dusty is a wild, feral beast. My only purpose in that channel is when things go beyond terms of service and he hasn't noticed, is to call it out. That is it. I've read terms of service. That's how I got the keys.
There you go.
And I'm a little autistic, but I'm Caucasian Sasquatch. I interview other creators on YouTube for funsies, see what they want to do, what they're planning on doing, what they're doing, that kind of stuff. Usually it's smaller creators that haven't monetized yet, just because they're more available and more interested typically. Beyond that, I do a whole bunch of like production work for different other channels that do live streams. I set up StreamYard layouts and backgrounds, edit material, do all kinds of wacky stuff like that. And I see Tuesdays I do the Naughty Corner with American Justice of Texas. Saturdays I do Screaming into the Void with Samuel the Infamous. Sundays I do the Blast Radius with Captain Curmudgeon. And any old time that the Powdered Dusty goes live and I happen to notice, I'll pop in and I might be backstage at any point. You don't know.
Good time.
I try to help other creators. Mainly what I want is better content from you freaking fur burgers out there. I want y'all to make better stuff. If you want to make better content, give me a call. I'm sure we can figure something out to improve something somewhere.
I always, I've been trying now for a year to find someone that can do clips and some production value. I have people that can do it, but they're all so busy that it's too much of an added burden for them to do.
Clips takes a dedicated individual. If you're doing any amount of live streaming, if you're doing 3 or 4 live streams a week, somebody has to sit and watch it not once, but 3 times or so to get all the clips out. And then somebody has to do all the editing and uploading and all that stuff. But I've been waiting patiently for a volunteer on the clips bit. And the only thing I've managed to get is haters trying to clip me when I'm drunk, which is funny because I'm more hilarious drinking than I am sober by far. Because when I'm sober,
I can attest to the afternoon that I caught you drunk after my workout. It was very funny.
I don't even remember it.
I would assume that you would not. You had drank or you had reportedly drank quite a bit.
For a while there, I was letting people pay for $2 shots, and I realized real quickly that A, I'm an alcoholic, and B, that's a bad idea. So now we've transferred to I'm going to drink as much as I'm going to drink, and you can pay for me to read a toast on the next shot.
Solid
right
work.
Right. Y'all have a lovely evening. Don't let the man get you down.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
See you, Squatch. All right, let me respond to this from Calvin. This was from February 2025. Biden had originally authorized like 180K, and then after Trump got in office, it was raised to 400 mil. 480 mil or 480K. Let me find this. I hate scrolling. You guys are making me scroll. Making me scroll. All right, so 400 mil. So 180K went to 480K. Let me I don't see that. Let me see. I don't know about that 13. I'd have to look into it. I still don't think this is corrupt. Then when it became public, it reverted back. Again, I don't know that again why that matters. People were burning Teslas in the street. If they, the amount of liberal nasties out there, that probably would have gone up. So we'll figure it out. I know you were being funny. I just have to say so, right? I still don't buy into it. Glenn, you have the link if you want to come up for the last like 20 minutes of the show. Yeah, I think it is more damage control than anything else. Imperious, welcome to the chat. I guess, maybe. He might have gotten kicked already. You never know. All right. Well, it is getting time to go. Getting close. You are forever? Probably not. I'm gonna get a nap before my show tonight too. Imperious needs the link. No, we're too close to leaving, man. I'm out of here. If Glenn doesn't hurry up and come up, I'm out. 10-second timeouts for him. All right, that's fine. I don't care. Whatever. He never got his date with Donovan. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Burning a Tesla that is not yours is stupid. If you haven't learned already, this administration isn't playing games. I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that part of it, Calvin. I agree with that part of it. I think that, but I still see Teslas getting burned. Have you guys seen the videos from the Tesla interior cameras of where people come up and, basically damaged them in some way, and they get arrested or worse. Ah, that'd be funny. Helping Hound, that'd be funny. Are you talking about Dogecoin yetter? That'd be funny. I probably need to go get some stuff done. I was waiting on Glenn to come up, but who knows? That would be funny if that was Angry Casper, because that'd be the nicest I've ever seen him. Yeah, that's true, Ghost. Nissan's in a lot of trouble. They're really in bad shape. I actually thought Nissan was done for. How does that? Yeah, sure, Calvin. How does that compare with everybody else's profits this year? And would you want to? If you really want to talk about that, you'd have to admit, or you should consider the fact that everyone hates Elon right now and are avoiding buying Teslas and vandalizing them. What's up, Glenn? How are you? I can't hear you, Glenn.
Oh, hold
I heard a frog that sounds like again.
on. I'm good.
Oh, there you go. That's a little better.
So, what you guys talking about? Teslas?
Kat, we were talking
Vespas.
originally about Doge. I have a Doge debate tonight, and so I was going over my Doge debate, and the one thing that Calvin is just not letting go of is that apparently there was a deal made to buy $180,000 worth of Teslas, which is like 3 cars, I think.
Yeah,
Right? 3 cars.
about three Cybertrucks.
And then they apparently the government gave them a contract for $400 million, and then when that and obviously it was a public deal. So when some press guy got a hold of it and published it, they pushed the deal back down to some more manageable level, probably less than 100 million, I guess. I don't know, 4 million or 400 million or whatever the fuck it was. 400 million in Teslas is probably enough to like revamp all of the Chevy products that the current fleet is. So I do agree with Anson here that we do need to quit making electric cars. Calvin, one last thing I want to talk about the 71% loss in profits this year. Literally everybody had a massive loss in profits. Literally everybody. And Tesla's no different. Tesla has, and one of the big things is the Cybertruck. If we want to talk about why the Teslas dropped so much in value, is that people pre-ordered Cybertrucks at like $120,000. They were selling the list price, I think, was like 95 grand, and they were selling for something like, I think, 115 to 125,000. Now, whoa.
Don't hate on the Cybertruck. I have one.
You have a Cybertruck?
Yeah.
Did you pay 100 grand for one?
No.
Okay. So literally, no kidding, people that paid like $112,000, $120,000, whatever they paid for their Cybertruck, within like 4 months, those trucks are worth like 45 grand. Like they're less than a Honda Civic right now.
No, they're not.
Or a Honda Pilot.
They're not. But they did drop significantly from
I've seen them for 45 grand, dude.
Yeah, but it's like stripped. It's not the Cybertruck that you get when you pre-ordered.
Calvin, this is actually a solid point. This could be that could show public displeasure with Musk actions at Doge, but literally every electric vehicle is taking a hit. All of them across the board. The Leaf from Nissan, the Prius. They're not now. They did revamp the Prius. Have you seen the new Prius, Glenn?
No, I can't. It just
actually looks pretty good.
I like the Y and the Cybertruck. Those are the only two I like.
Yeah. I don't like the Cybertruck, and I actually don't like any of the Teslas at all. I think they're boring, and I don't like them.
Yeah,
I,
I thought the same thing until like driving in it,
mm,
and I'm like, oh, this is really convenient.
mm,
I could talk to Grid and text him and
mhm.
drive at the same time and not have to worry about it
Yeah,
because
my
it doesn't
buddy has a
move.
Model 3 with all of the with the performance package or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
And
Like
so
both
he's got,
the
yeah,
Cybertruck and
it's
the Y that we
self-drive,
have here have
self-drive.
both the Cybertruck and the Y that we have here have the performance package.
Yeah.
It's pretty chill.
The problem with but again, right now you can buy a Cybertruck for less than a Honda Pilot. Like a fully loaded Honda Pilot and a Cybertruck costs basically the same. Which is weird, right? Like a Honda Pilot is, and I only know this because we're looking at buying a company that just bought a Honda Pilot, and it's like they owe $54,000 on it. So out the door, we guess, we don't know, but we guess out the door, the sticker price was probably 60, 62. And, right now you can buy a brand new Cybertruck for about that. And that's not a stripped down one.
I don't know
You
where,
can buy
because
used. You can buy
maybe over
used.
there in Tennessee,
Yeah, where we don't
but
like it.
not over here in California. Like
Yeah.
you can't even get a bag of chips for less than $100. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not on the weird coast. But yeah, the Cybertrucks here, the used ones, the used like fully optioned out with the big tires and everything, those were, I think you can find those with like no miles on them for like 70. And you can get a new, I don't know what the plain version of the Cybertruck is, but you can get a new one of those for about the same price as a Honda Pilot. But I couldn't believe a Honda Pilot was $62,000 fucking dollars. It's a fucking Honda. It's like,
yeah, but
who
Hondas
the fuck is
last
paying
forever. Like
$62,000 for a fucking Honda? That's insane.
yo, Hondas last forever. My sister has her Honda since she was 16 years old,
Dude,
and she still drives that thing. It has like 300,000 miles on that thing, and
the
it's still
Mercedes
perfect condition.
whatever the fuck they call them, they're not e-trons or something like that. The Mercedes EVs are less than the Teslas, and they're fucking nice as shit.
They are nicer. I will give the Mercedes that.
I'm going to give
who
Mercedes
has one?
a lot of props here.
You
Now,
remember Davrick, right?
yeah,
Davrick has one.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the electric. Well, he didn't have the electrical on his side. He had the coupe, which
Yeah. No, he got the electric.
yeah. So I'm going to give Mercedes this. They've kept their EV prices like super low for EVs, right? But their gas vehicles, especially the G wagons and the
I think
GLs,
the G wagons are ugly.
dude, the G wagons are so expensive right now. You can't touch a new off the floor G wagon for under $400,000.
Yeah, they're hideous looking. It's stupid.
There's a what they call the midnight package, which is black.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was $585,000.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm cool with that. Like, some gay rapper like Lil Nas X made G wagons cool, and then everybody wants to
Well, they were
get
cool.
on. Oh, the G wagon. Now I know what it stands for. It's the gay wagon.
I actually have to jump off. I've got to send some emails and stuff, guys.
Did you get the text message I sent you?
Yes. I read it live on air.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, fuck that guy. So, hey, I don't know if you know this, but Are We Not Men reminds me of this dude I used to know. His name was Todd, and he was a small guy, so we called him Wee Todd. And Are We Not Men reminds me exactly of Wee Todd. So
I don't know Wee Todd. So
well, he is definitely Wee Todd. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day. I don't have anywhere to send you. I'm just going to have to dip out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great show, been a good debate prep, but I just got You didn't see me do it, but I looked over here on my screen and I got to answer an email in the next like 10 or 15 minutes. So conflict companies, save that. I will save some of those thoughts. We'll get to them on Thursday afternoon. In the meantime, everybody be cool. Wear glasses if you need them. Glenn, have a great day. And all the rest of you, get the fuck off my lawn.